All right, so welcome everyone to Community Board 4's October 18th, 2023 public hearing and regular meeting. It is 6:14 p.m. Thank you for your patience. We had some technical difficulties with tonight's meeting, but we are getting ready to get started. We have two public hearing items, starting with New Yorkers for Parks. Is Carl Nelson with us in person? I don't hear anything. Is Carl on Zoom? All right, so we will move right along to the annual budget meeting overview. Mr. Camacho, myself, and the first and second vice chairpersons of the community board will summarize. I don't believe are Josh and Raul on yet. Joshua Brown, Raul Rubio. All right, so Mr. Camacho, it's all you, and I'm happy to help as needed.
Thank you all. In regards to the capital priorities and requests, is the same as the same order as mostly you'll hear me say the same order, everything from line 1 all the way to line 13. It'll be the same order, but I'll break it down. Some are going to move down, some will move up. There are 13. So in regards to the HPD priorities, more housing and extreme low and low income. That's our first. It's the same. It's the same order. 2, the same order. Provide more housing for special needs housing holders, such as informally homeless family. 3, the same as we did struck Broadway between Van Sinklen and Flushing Avenue. 4 is the same priority that we had before, request for parks reconstruction and upgrade a building in the park of Maria Handana's Comfort Station, which is the restroom. 5 was moved up. It was a request for parks priority, a new or expansion to a building in a park, an Irving Square Park for toddlers play equipment. That equipment needs to be upgraded. We know that part, I know that the commissioner mentioned to us that it wasn't before, I believe our council was here. They said that it was past overdue. Now they say that it's not past overdue. So since it looks terrible, I think it's past overdue and we need a toddler area for there. We got a church and we got the school. Also, number 6 was moved down. Requested DOT repairs, priority new lights in the district. Another one was moved up. Number 7, request for NYPD, another NYPD facilities equipment request. Aquarius cameras, those cameras. We moved up 8, request for NYCTH MTA repairs and upgrade subway stations and other transit infrastructures on Decal L and extension elevator installation. Number 9 was moved up, request for EDC investment infrastructures that will support the growth of commercial businesses along Broadway, thank God, Myrtle Avenue, Knickerbocker Avenue, and Wyckoff Avenue. This was moved down. Number 10, request for Brooklyn Public Library, create a new and renovate or upgrade the assistant library, Brooklyn Public Library on Decal, 790 Bushwick Avenue. Number 11, it was moved down, DOT reconstruction of Myrtle between Broadway and Wyckoff. Number 12 was moved down, request for DOT reconstruction of Wyckoff between Flushing and Cooper. And number 13 stood the same, request for NYCT MTA repair upgrade stations and other station infrastructures, Wilson Avenue L, ADA compliance, and Canarsie bound trains. Continued support, request EDC and other capital budget requests through EDC, investment, reinvigoration, and Broadway, Myrtle, and Wyckoff. Request DOT reconstruction street Winfield between Irving Avenue and Wyckoff. request for BPL, create a new and renovate or upgrade the Assistant Public Library, which is the Washington Irving on 360 Irving Avenue. Any questions? Please, any questions? These are our capital budget priorities and requests. If none, I will move over to our first Vice Chair, Joshua Brown, will read the inspection budget priority request.
I'm sure.
Thank you, Josh.
All right. Good evening, CB4. All right, so we'll go our expense budget priorities and requests for this session. Number one, we're going to keep it in the same order. Requests for parks, enhance park safety through more security staff, police or parks enforcement district-wide. Number two, we're going to keep it in the same order. Requests for NYPD to hire additional uniformed officers. Number three, we moved up our request for HPD to expand programs for housing and inspections to correct code violations, additional housing inspectors. Number four was moved up. That's a request for the Department of Mental Health, other programs to address public health issues requests, comprehensive community outreach plan, marketing and engagement opportunities at the Bushwick Health Center at 335 Central Avenue. Number five was moved down. That's a request for DOB to expand code and enforcement to get additional building inspectors. Number six moved up. Request for FDNY to provide more firefighters or EMS workers, additional fire marshals. Number seven was moved down. Request for parks, forestry services, including street tree maintenance, expand contracts, increase frequency for tree pruning. Number eight, moved down. Requests for DOH, MH, animal and pest control requests, including reducing rat and mosquito populations, address increase in rodent populations. Number nine is in the same order. Requests for DEP to clean catch basins, as well as additional personnel for the repair and maintenance of catch basins and rain gardens. Number 10, moved down. Requests for parks, improve trash removal and cleanliness. Parks district-wide, especially Maria Hernandez and Irving Square Parks. Number 11 was moved down. Requests for OMB, provide more community board staff. 12 was moved down. Requests for EDC to expand clean space initiatives for public sites and graffiti fee-free removal program for private sites along commercial business corridors. Number 13 moved up. Requests for DOT, other traffic improvement requests, increased contracts for streetlight repairs. Number 14 was moved up. Requests for DSS/DHS to expand street outreach to support large homeless and or at-risk populations district-wide. 15 was moved up. Request for DSNY to provide more frequent garbage or recycling pickup for schools and institutions. 16 was moved up. Request for SBS, support merchant organizing along the Broadway corridor. Number 17 moved up. Request for DYCD to provide, expand, or enhance after-school programs for elementary school students. 18 was moved up. Request for New York City agents to enhance educational and recreational programs. 19 was moved up. Request for DSNY to increase enforcement of canine waste laws. So that just to recap. So number one is in the same order. Request for HPD to provide more housing for extremely low and low income housing. And number two, yeah. Any questions about the orders in terms of moving up or going down? Please don't ask all at once. All right.
All right, this is the chance. If there are any general questions about the budget, anything I see a hand and I see our council member, board member, if we want to just grab a microphone first.
Thank you. Community Board Member Zachary Hendrickson speaking. Sorry if this is a bit too general, but I'd love just a bit of a brief understanding of, I understand capital budget, but as far as expense budgets and how that relates to the budget of this community board or where that's coming from in terms of the city, I think that would be really helpful just to understand these requests. And sorry,
Thanks, Zach. Just a general distinction between the budgets. So the budget we're discussing right now is the city's budget. So this is what the board does on an annual basis to advise on what different city agencies provide to the district. So the expense budget would generally be for anything programming related. Capital is above, they say the rule of thumb is above $1 million. It's for larger investments and projects. Anything below that, whether it's related to personnel or to programming, would be the expense budget. They do include, however, a component of this. The community boards are listed underneath this as well, because we're considered a city agency. But there is no differentiation between the board and the other agencies. So if there were needs, the board could also, detail those needs for the community board alongside the other needs for the district. This process, again, is focused on advising the agencies on what's needed, and then they will respond to indicate how they meet that request or what they might need for that request to be met.
But no, and also I want to clarify because Celeste said it the nice way. When we submit what we want, the agencies put in a little paragraph constantly all the time, the same thing. We're finding out about it. We don't know what's going on. They're not telling us specifically, no, there ain't no money. They're not gearing us the right way. They're filling us with a check a box and that's it. And we got to imagine what it means. So sometimes me and Celeste are pulling our hairs and saying, what does that mean? Are they going to fund it or they're not going to fund it? Are they giving us the money or there's no money? So the answer is, it is what it is. Celeste doesn't say, but just like our council person said, we need to address the flooding. We didn't think about the flooding. Hopefully, maybe we can
There's
amend.
still time. There's still time.
All right. Well, we should amend it in regards to and try to bring the priorities up in regards to make sure that money is there for the funding and upgrades and infrastructures, especially in Bushwick. So now they're building higher. We used to be 2 and 3 family homes. The waste lines are 4-inch pipes, maybe increasing it or doing something or creating a flood mitigation or something where we can catch the water and use it for our trees and stuff like that. Something, I don't know, thinking out the box. So, and that's basically it, right? Thank you.
And if I may add, there were a few copies up here for board members who came a little bit early. We print by request. So if a board member would like a request of any of the materials, if anyone would like any hard copies of the materials we hand out, just please let us know and we will make sure you have a copy here. There's the budget register. And as Mr. Camacho was mentioning, it includes the request. It also includes the agency response. Many of the agency responses are non-answers. They say the agency will accommodate this within existing resources. That does not, right, this is it. So this is the adopted budget register for fiscal year 2024. The very first question or the very first request is for HPD for the capital budget request. It's for more housing for extremely low and low income households. And the response from the agency is OMB supports the agency's position as follows. The agency will try to accommodate this issue within existing resources. So it does not really provide us more information, puts the onus on the board to really follow up and understand what that means. But again, that happens at the budget committee level. For folks that are interested in getting more involved, please do let us know. There are a variety of ways. We held the district needs town hall. There's a district needs survey. I just want to say thank you to all of the board members, often many of the same board members who participate in these activities. We know this is your time and we appreciate it. Any other questions in general about the budget? Anyone want to throw anything out there that needs to be requested? Okay, I see. Yeah, I see some hands. Okay.
Manny, stay there. Don't get up. I got you. I got
My question is, my name is Louise Madden, been in this area for over 60 years. And what are they going to do with Broadway? Too much, it's been going on for a long, long time. I know it has been requested ages ago, and they have not done anything for it. It's getting worse, it's getting bad, and it's getting dangerous.
Thank you, Ms. Manning. Mr. Camacho, would you like for me to respond or do you want to respond?
I'm just gonna highlight, we're working, you gotta understand that there's 3 cash basement areas, community board is CB4, CB3, and 16. Got it. And also you got transit, you got the 8-1, you got the 8-3. I know for a fact because I lived on Broadway in Kosciuszko when I was a young kid. In 1977, the blackout killed it. And we ain't see anything up there since then. I understand you 100%. And all we getting now is liquor licenses and clubs and bars and people getting on the train and dumping their crap here and getting back on and going home to their quiet area where we can't sleep. I understand that one. But what we really need to do is try to organize the people over there. We really need to organize them because when I tried to organize them, it was so hard because back in the days, people owned and lived there. Now they don't, they're renting. I'm not going to spend my time getting involved when I'm not going to get any money from it. You know, back then, the people that lived in the community worked there. You had Shoe King, you had Buy Right. You had the pet shop, Albert, that was the pet shop. He lived in the community. You had the bakery that one of the school teachers in 274 was the bakery. We had the record shop that the gentleman lived right on Kosciuszko and Broadway. We lived right on. So he owned the building and had them there and they break stakes here. So now you're going to get somebody that's coming in here that's paying $20,000 a month. Guess what? You know, he wants to try to make his money. As you see, Vim's closed down. And we have a new sneaker store there and they're having a hard time because in the plaza, they sell the sneakers. Think about that one. So it's funny, but it's not funny because now they pushed it away and they pushed the people that have been making this community what it is. So we really need to focus on a lot of things and we need Broadway back because Broadway was a pillar. Broadway was the pillar from Gates to Myrtle to Halsey. It was, so we really need to work on that. Yeah, know, yeah. People that have been here so long know how it was. So we really need to push for it. So that's.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. The only thing I will add, and just to make a distinction and separate the businesses and economic development from the roadway. Thank you to Councilmember Sandy Nurse and for the rest of the elected officials that were involved in pushing this project with the Department of Transportation. We have had meetings, and I believe it was this past May where the commissioner came and presented on their plan to reconstruct Broadway, starting with separate traffic safety improvement projects along the corridor. So we have a ways to go before we get to complete reinvestment, but we're trying to do what we can as we can do it. So we welcome folks to get more involved with those efforts as well. All right, we had one other question on this side. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Community board member Jessica. I don't know if you guys heard of the devastating fire that occurred in the corner of Central and Menahem, but I do want to know how the agency is addressing electronic scooters and bikes and things of that nature that possess a big public and healthy hazard.
Can I, please? 1 minute. And 1 minute is really rough because two people are not doing good and a kid is not doing good. So when it turned the RAD conversion, I've been checking all these buildings out and making sure some of the scooters, I've been trying to enforce them. I have myself doing my own volunteer work and making sure that property manager takes care of our people that lives in this community. So I've been seeing those bikes in the back of the yards with the extension cord outside plugging. I remember that bike. I took a picture of the location and took it to management. What happened was the individual, instead of doing it in the backyard, took it to his house and charged it in his apartment. and the battery blew up. No, they're not gonna get pushed out. 2, we're gonna make sure they come back home. 3, we're gonna fix their apartment. Everyone in that building as of today, right now, I've been fighting and they're getting spots in a building and coming back home. So that was guaranteed by me and guaranteed by the property management and NYCHA. So they will be brought back, if God willing, they want to come back. Because, a tragedy like that, we want to bring them back. People may not, I don't know their situations. I don't know. That's why I tell you, we need to be friendly neighbors and talk to all our people, So I always say that. Yes, and we're putting what we're going to do now, and I myself was going to do it. We're going to start knocking on these doors and making sure that there is no other of those bikes. And we got to fight with our elected officials. There was part of my program there that I had in my report, but since you brought it up, I guess I'll speak to some of the things that have been going on that ourselves in the community been working on to make sure that people that need a job that has those scooters, we need to hold those entities, those what you call those food people, those Uber Eats and all those, because what happens is this, and I speak to our people. I say, why don't you use one of the city bikes? They say, no, it's faster for me to get to point A to point B and make some money and go anywhere I want and do what I want. Because the more money I get, the more money I get to serve and send to my people. You're 100% right, but you're putting people's lives on the line. So, you're putting seniors on the line. They only talk about when cars. We got a call this week in CB4 that the taxis in Bushwick taxis, and that they're having a hard time getting people to work with them because the liability insurance, them bikes are going all over, they're riding all over. He says, and nobody's helping us. But yet they want to put electrical kiosks to charge the charge station for free. Taxpayer dollars, your taxes, my taxes. But yet, instead of, it costs $25 to register a bike. $25. Insurance a year on a bike, $125. Because I had a bike. And I have Raul Rubio too knows he has a bike. And there's a gentleman here that one of my board members that has a bike. There you go. He comes in a bike. It's cheap. Motorcycles. I mean, a motorcycle. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? One of those electrical scooters that rides over, that you're not supposed to have, that's charging. Not those city bikes that it's easy. Not those. The scooters, the electrical scooters that they call it pods. Pods. Those are pods. So they're not governed. There's no license. There's no plates. There's no helmets. There's no safety. There's a baby in the front. There's a baby in the back, and the lady's texting. Think about that. There's no course. There's no safety thing. There's nothing. There's nothing. It's just make money and kill the people. So something needs to be done. And I know we have elected officials here. They need to let those Uber Eats company register those and give these people money and jobs, because they're making a lot of money in deliveries. That's right. You know that, and they charge you, right? So we really need to work and make sure that if in Bushwick, let's take the forefront. Whoever else don't want to do it, then by all means let them. Not only that, it makes it harder for PD, because we're always pointing the finger on PD that they need to do their job. But if you got my hands cuffed, how am I going to do my job? So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. All right. So, and just to add to that, the FDNY did contact the office. The board's office always receives notifications about any fires within the district. They're forwarded to the board's public safety committee chairperson and are usually reported out to the committee during the committee meetings. In addition to that, FDNY contacted us separately, just given the circumstances of this particular fire. They will be doing proactive engagement with Hope Gardens. They will be attending tonight's meeting, I believe, and make an announcement later, as well as coming to present at next month's public hearing on both lithium-ion battery safety, as well as the seasonal holiday safety tips for fire prevention. All right. If there's nothing else, last call for questions about the budget. Go ahead. We have another.
This is more a question about the order of the agenda. I'm with New Yorkers for Parks here to give the presentation about campaign. I see that it's number 1 on the public hearing items. So I'm wondering if we're already on the second item. I was a little bit late.
Yes, we called your name. You were not here. We moved on to the second agenda item.
Okay, I went to the first address that my colleague had been given at the original location, and the security guard redirected me here. So I was there on time, but we never received communication that the location had changed. So hopefully it's still possible to present.
So yeah, once we finish this item, we can revisit that, but we need to finish this item first.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So last call, any budget questions? I don't see anyone in person. Anyone on Zoom? I don't see any hands raised. So we will close out this public hearing item. Thank you everyone for your contribution. And we will move on now. It is the board's decision. Would the board like to allow the presenter to present from New Yorkers for Parks? I see. Okay. There was a motion. Is there a second? There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. When you are ready.
What I have is a presentation on my laptop. I'm not. There's a way to connect it to the larger screen, or if I should just present it over here.
I would suggest for time's sake that you present it from there. Any presentation should have been forwarded prior to this meeting.
I believe Kimberly shared this presentation with all of us in her email.
Yeah. There's a point of information from a board member, Zach Hendrickson. The presentation was shared by Kimberly with all of the board members. And Kimberly will pull it up. So hopefully it's the same, the same one.
Okay, great.
Yep, it is on the screen.
Can you plug this in?
Okay, great. So can I come over
I'll just
here and
plug
do?
this in properly? It's not charging.
Please mute folks if you're not speaking on Zoom.
Okay, hello, everybody. I'm Carl Nelson with New Yorkers for Parks. Thanks for having me. Go to the next slide. So a bit about us. We're the only independent parks advocacy organization in New York City, founded in 1908. We champion equitable distribution development of parks and open spaces throughout the city in every borough. And we work through a combination of partnerships, advocacy, and research. Next slide. We are the co-founders of the Playfair Coalition. This is a coalition of over 500 park stewardship groups, community gardeners, volunteers, nonprofits, sustainably focused organizations, all dedicated to advocating for parks and open spaces in our city, with representation in every borough. We co-founded the coalition alongside the New York League of Conservation Voters, the District Council 37, the NYC Parks Workers Union, and Council Member Shaker Christian, who's the chair of the Parks Committee, council member from District 25. Next slide. This is the Playfair Coalition. Next slide. Our recent research, we recently released the 1% for Parks Impact Report, and this is an in-depth look at what an increase in Parks Department funding to 1% of the total city budget would mean for the Parks Department, for New Yorkers, and for parks workers. We also released the open space profiles, which is a snapshot of parks access and availability in community districts alongside demographic data, public health data. And it's a tool that advocates can use in their community to call for the expansion and maintenance of green spaces. I'm here today to talk about our primary campaign, which is the 1% for Parks campaign. We're calling on Mayor Adams and the City Council to allocate 1% of the total city budget, of the total city expense budget to NYC Department of Parks and Recreation. This is something that the mayor has committed to, but has not yet followed through, and we're seeking community board support for this item. Next slide. So to understand where this 1% number comes from, it helps to look at the history of the city budget and the history of the parks budget. Up until the 1970s, NYC Parks received 1.4% of the total city operating budget. The fiscal crisis in 1978 came, and a lot of city agencies had to reduce their budgets in order to avoid the fiscal cliff and avoid bankruptcy. However, decades later, as the city's economy has come back to life and there's been improvements across the board, the parks budget remains at just 0.6%. When you compare growth of other city agencies to the growth of the Parks Department budget, you can see how much we haven't been keeping pace. The total NYC expense budget has increased by 127%. And other agencies have increased by as much as 165, while NYC Parks has lagged behind, has only grown by 72% over those past few decades. We also spend less than nearly every other major city. Other major cities are spending between 1% and 5% of their budgets on their parks departments, and we spend far less despite having significantly more parkland. The Parks Department is a public-facing agency, so the resources for that go towards the department go towards Parks Department staff that are maintaining these parks. However, due to this historic disinvestment over the past few decades, we've seen massive population growth and a decrease in staff number, meaning that there are less people to maintain these spaces. Just a snapshot of what this looks like in comparison to another city that's doing better than we are. NYC Parks has one gardener for every 114 acres, whereas San Francisco and Chicago have one gardener for every 18 acres. So it's very difficult with the staff that we have and the resources allocated where they are for the parks workers to adequately maintain these spaces. And we feel it in our communities and it affects our quality of life. Rec centers at their best can be community centers with high quality programming and athletic facilities and so on. But there's been a disinvestment in these spaces too, with Parks Department manages all of the rec centers throughout the city. And a massive decline in funding and staffing for these spaces has affected their quality and the service that they're able to provide. Another shocking number is just the comparison of the NYPD overtime budget compared to the entire budget for maintaining and operating all 30,000 acres of parkland. We surveyed members of our Playfair Coalition who are stewards of local neighborhood parks. They told us that they're seeing an increase in usership over the past 3 years, and especially an increase year round in the shoulder seasons and outside of the traditional busy season. So people are using their parks since before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, more than ever before. They're taking advantage of these spaces, which means more wear and tear. They're more heavily trafficked, and we don't have the resources or the staffing to accommodate this increased usage. They also reported feelings of people not feeling safe in their parks, which aligns with the mayor's management report, reported on an increase in reported crimes against people and property in parks in FY23. We think that this is in large part an issue of a lack of a uniform presence in parks. We think that more PEP officers, Parks Enforcement Patrol, as well as more just regular parks workers, just a uniformed presence, people forming relationships and kind of creating a sense of safety for community members. We think that increased parks funding can be the solution to these problems. A few of the immediate benefits of increasing parks funding in every neighborhood. Better maintained parks, quicker repairs, increased accessibility, safer parks. Our park system is also our best defense against extreme weather, flooding, climate change, and the higher quality of service that these areas get, the better that they can serve us against climate change. Parks have benefits to our physical and mental health. They also have tangible economic benefits. They generate and save taxpayers billions of dollars every year. Mayor Adams has supported this funding increase as borough president, as a mayoral candidate, and as the mayor. Repeatedly publicly reaffirmed his commitment to it, but obviously he hasn't followed through yet. So a big part of this is seizing the moment and holding him to his campaign commitment. We also have nearly every council member on record in support of this. No council members are specifically opposed. And we have our 1% for Parks petition, which this says 10,000 at this point. I think it has closer to 12,000 signatures of individual New Yorkers signing on and saying that this is a priority for them. So the next step in our efforts is we're trying to get every single community board to issue a letter of support, a letter of resolution in support of this historic funding increase. And we sincerely hope that Community Board 4 will join us and issue a letter. It's, a rising tide lifts all boats. This is funding that is going to mean more parks workers in Irving Square Park, Maria Hernandez Park. It means that there'll be a deeper investment in these spaces that are so important to all communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions?
We got a question.
Carl, can you tell us more about your organization, how long it's been operating, and where you guys are based?
Yeah, so we were founded in 1908. We have gone through many different iterations and areas of focus. We've always been independent. We've always been citywide. We've always been focused on preventing park alienation, expanding the park system, calling for increased parks maintenance. Our office is located currently in the financial district in Manhattan. And we also run what's called the Daffodil Project, which is a annual program. It's a living memorial to victims of 9/11 and COVID-19. And we distribute roughly 1 million daffodil bulbs every year to New Yorkers in every borough, and volunteers plant those in community gardens and so on. And that's kind of tied in as well with our advocacy work.
Have you gone to the borough president and requested a hearing or a presentation to the borough boards?
We have, and I believe as it stands, we have the support of most of the borough presidents, and I'll have to get back to you on the exact borough president support. And I believe that soon we are attending and presenting at a one of the borough president hearings. That's coming up soon on this campaign.
Yeah, because my thing is that you have all borough boards chairs there, and you can attack all of them at one spot instead of you going to each location and doing a presentation and having to have a personal, because normally they would do that if you would call Brooklyn Borough Hall. I know someone here from the office, maybe, I'm not too sure if they do or they have been or requested for or a presentation in regards to trying to get all the boards to sign off on their proposed money funding. Thank you.
Just for folks on Zoom, that was Lacey Talbert from the Borough President's Office. She would have to talk to the Director of Community Boards, Carol Ann Church, to clarify. I see a hand. I see a few hands. We'll start with Miss Bennett. Hold on, Miss Manning. Yeah, hold on, Miss Manning. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and I got you. Stay there. Don't move.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bennett. Within your presentation, you mentioned recreation centers that come under the Parks Department. Bushwick does not have a recreation center where many other communities do. So out of your 1% budget that's proposing for the city, how much would be allocated to building a recreation center in Bushwick?
So the thing about this campaign, 1% of the city's expense and operating budget, which is separate from the capital budget. So one of the issues that we see and that we're specifically trying to address with this campaign is obviously, you know, we do call for the expansion of parks and building new parks and building new recreation centers, especially in the neighborhoods that don't have those amenities. That's obviously a priority. But the 1% for specifically from the maintenance and operation and expenses budget is more so about maintaining and investing in the park space that we already have. So our advocacy for, you know, expanding green spaces is obviously related, but is also separate from this specific call for funding, because this is a call for funding for the staffing lines and the resources that are dedicated to existing parks and existing recreation centers. Yeah.
And just a point of information, Ms. Bennett, to my knowledge, the Parks Department is one of the only agencies that does not have a capital budget. So a lot of their funding comes specifically from the council members through discretionary funds, the borough president's discretionary funds, and even the mayor's office will sometimes allocate to cover park renovations, any capital projects. So it wouldn't be the parks themselves, but the elected officials that help move those projects forward. We were, yep. Yep, and that is a matter to take up with our elected officials. All right, next question.
Manning?
Okay, Louise Manning, are they gonna have the daffodil program this year? Because I think I missed it last year. I've been coming there for almost 10 years picking the.
The Daffodil Project came and went. So we recently wrapped it up. Yeah, unfortunately. I'll make sure that you're on the list for future communications so that you don't miss it again next year.
Okay, thank you.
If not, I'm gonna bring it to you, okay? Gotta take care of my seedness with daffodils, man. Come on.
Thank you for your presentation. Zachary Hendrickson, Community Board Member, again. Given one of the priorities of this community board's budget was thinking about extreme weather events and climate change mitigation efforts, I was wondering if you could expand a little bit more on how parks and green spaces protect against extreme weather events.
Absolutely, yeah. Our park system, you know, ideally should be a sponge. It should absorb the stormwater during these extreme weather events. We're seeing more frequent flooding. Our stormwater system is not able to deal with increased rain and flooding. And our parks, if they're adequately maintained with the correct technology and with adequate maintenance, they can retain a lot of this stormwater and they can ultimately prevent flooding. But when we neglect their maintenance, they can't serve this purpose really. Similarly, you know, new technologies devoted to preventing flooding from sea level rise related to waterfront parks in areas of the city that have waterfront parks. That also relates to spaces in that technology. We can prevent flooding along the waterfront as well.
All right. Last call for questions. Going once. Anyone on Zoom? All right, none on Zoom. Seeing none in person, thank you very much.
Thank you. So sorry, I'll send around follow-up, send the resolution and the letter and a template of that, and then we'll hope for your support on that letter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Our council person, Sandy Nurse, would you Dylan Jr., you want some time to speak? Thank you.
And Councilmember, right before you do, board members, we are very happy to share that there's food this evening. So if you can
Yeah.
very quietly help yourself.
Could
to
you
some
help
food.
yourself while our councilperson, please?
Board members first, and then the public is more than welcome to help themselves as well.
Please, and do it
Okay.
quietly because we want to make sure we can hear.
It's okay. I'll be loud because I know everybody wants to eat and then they got conversation. So listen in if you're interested. Good evening, everyone. I'm your member for the 37th Council District. Pleasure to be here with you all. I wasn't able to come in September, but I wanted to touch base with just a few updates. One, I want to thank Mr. Camacho, who has spent a lot of time coming to hearings recently to raise Bushwick's voice about the flooding and the need for flooding infrastructure. The commissioner did say on the record that they should have a proposal for us about what they plan to do about the flooding by the end of the year. So we need to hold him accountable to that. Just in regards to Broadway, we had also requested, in addition to the bigger project of replacing the concrete with blacktop, we had requested DOT paint the lines along Broadway because most of them are off. They're almost done with that. I mean, if you've seen it lately, they have gone all the way from Broadway Junction pretty far down with pedestrian crossings and the yellow line. So the actual repaving is going to have to happen in 2 phases. They're going to start in the west and at some point make their way east. So they'll start closer to the Flushing side. You might have seen that the J train lines are also being abated. They've started to put up, well, you can see there's a big construction over there. I would recommend if you drive over there, it's going to get kind of crazy over the next couple months. So just plan accordingly, but they are abating the lines and we're hoping to get that same kind of process happening for the M train. Just quickly on e-bikes, I know because there was a big conversation about that. I just wanted to say that both the city, the state, and the federal government have passed a ton of legislation within the last 12 months related to e-bikes. The council passed legislation that banned the sale of batteries for e-bikes that are not certified by the highest level of battery safety certification company. There's a swap program so that folks who are taking apart the old batteries and mixing them with cells of new batteries, which is causing a lot of the fires, that they could swap out their old batteries. We're passing something that people who are selling and accepting old batteries have to keep records of it so we can keep track of it. I mean, our Congresswoman introduced some legislation as well related to e-bikes. So everybody's on e-bikes in terms of passing laws. But again, we do need to spread the word about the dangers of them in buildings. Excuse me. And then in terms of, I just wanted to respond quickly to rec center. We're certainly open to identifying where a parks rec center could go, but we did additionally, okay, let me know. I don't know. It's not in my brain right now. But we did request, put in a letter to the governor with capital requests. And one of them was also for a teen center or a larger community center that doesn't just cater to younger kids, but to teenagers for public safety programming. Okay. So that was stuff that came up both basically here, but I only wanted to announce one is participatory budgeting. We're again, for the second time, we were really successful last year. Everybody who pitched a project won, 4 schools won. There's bathroom upgrades, gym upgrades, a bunch of stuff. We got sanitation cameras. One of the schools in Bushwick had the highest turnout with over 2,000 votes. They got the whole school out. So Wyckoff Avenue got like a bunch of trees that are going to go on Wyckoff Avenue at some point. But Fran from our team printed out a bunch of stuff. The idea map is open. So you don't even have to go to anything. You could just go on here and click submit your idea on the map. We're having our first Bushwick assembly on Thursday, November 2nd. We'd love to have you. It's an info session. You'll also be able to submit ideas there. And if you'd love to volunteer, we'd love to have you. Some folks volunteered. Shout out to Krishnan. It was really great to have folks helping us get the word out and communicate with agencies. And then additionally, we're having a Halloween party on Knickerbocker Plaza under the M train with a bunch of groups, Halloween costumes and prizes and candy. So come on out. All that stuff's in the back. So just wanted to highlight those things. But thank you and happy to take any questions.
Hi, Edward Cobb, Community Board Member. Just a point of information. People need to understand when we talk about e-bikes and what's happening, it's the e-mopeds are the problem, not the e-bikes. So you'll see a regular bike with a long, thin battery that is electrically assisted. Those are not what's catching on fire. When you see what looks like a traditional Vespa style moped with a big lithium battery in it, those are the ones that are catching on fire.
Thank you for that important clarification.
Councilwoman, can you speak on the migrant situation? And is it Bushwick will be getting more, less? I know we have a site on Wyckoff and Jefferson. Can you speak about that? And do we get updates regarding any increase or decrease in terms of input?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the question. So as you know, we do have a HERC. I forget what the breakdown is. Humanitarian Emergency Respite Relief Center. Over on Wyckoff and Jefferson, that is in Councilmember Gutierrez's district. And from everything I've seen, she's been doing the best she can to coordinate with the agencies. This is run by the Office of Emergency Management, HPD, excuse me. Not all of them are managed by the same agency, so it's challenging. However, as you may be aware, all single male adults are under 60 days. They're only allowed to be in any of these facilities for 60 days. And then after 60 days, they are evicted and sent back to the intake center in Manhattan. I believe the order is coming down that will now be shortened to 30 days for single adult men. For families, the mayor has announced that he will reduce families staying in the shelters to 60 days. After 60 days, they will also have to go back to the intake center. So that is the situation. What that means and what that will look like as that policy comes into effect, we will know, because this is the 60 days just happened recently for this one over here on the HERC. So my understanding is it was a somewhat smooth. There was buses. This also happened during the day of heavy rain. There was flooding. So it was sorry, it wasn't smooth. It was actually chaotic, but I was like, now that I'm recalling it, it was actually kind of chaotic, but unfortunately it was because of a severe weather event that was the reason. Most of those people did go back. Some people did not go back to the intake. We do not get information as to the outcomes of individuals who do not re-go to the intake center. So about every 2 weeks, the administration sends us a list of how many people are in its care in total. It's never broken down by district of any district. So the latest I saw was 119,000 people. That is not disaggregated into any way. So we don't really have much space here. So we have not been getting any new plans for emergency pop-up sites. We're not getting the tents that other council districts are getting because of the amount of land and public space that they have available. We don't have that, but that is the best information I could give you at this moment. Yeah.
Can they get that? Can any churches in Bushwick get the stipend that the hotels are getting? Because we got churches hurting, so they could use the $150 a day. You think any of that is coming or no?
There is a program. If you are part of a house of worship, there is a program for churches to be able to receive some money to house folks. I can send over the details of that. My understanding is that many of the churches have struggled to get very far in that program. because it was set up very quickly. So if you don't have shower facilities or you don't have certain kinds of facilities, or if your church has different other issues going on with it in terms of its structure, then it has to be hospitable for people to stay long term. And my understanding is it's a small amount of people that can participate in these programs per church. But I will make sure I send something over.
Any other questions?
Councilwoman, yes, we 2020, we had a letter in regards to the Bushwick Community Plan. So I'm going to highlight the booklet and give you where we know where we want to put one of these beautiful places on. I have a.
You already know.
Okay.
I'd like to follow up.
Yeah, so no, just to add to what Mr. Camacho is saying, that is specifically Madison Street and Bushwick Avenue. That was the space for the Parks Rec Center.
But I didn't want to, I wanted to tell them the side because I didn't want maybe to be developers here, want to turn around and take it away and
Well,
developer side.
It's
So we want to be
city- it's
careful.
city owned. It's city
Yeah.
owned. So,
You'd be surprised what the city can do. I'm not shocked.
yeah. All right.
All right, thank you. Edward Kopp again. Just to follow up on the immigration issues in particular, as we're seeing people being forced out of any type of shelter in a shorter and shorter period. And what I keep hearing people say, my electeds, the news heads, is the word emergency. So why don't we have a state of emergency? Why aren't we working under emergency law and addressing the fact that under emergency law, we will make these people New York City citizens, give them a New York State ID, and hire them as New York City employees and have them build their own safety infrastructure, build their own homes. You can call, there's mobile kitchens that I'm a vet, so I know how a lot of this stuff rolls out. I've talked to CBs about how long this would take to build. The skilled people, the people who are coming in, they want to build, they want to work, they want to feed themselves, and they want to feed their families. And all I see happening is people saying, not my problem, not my problem, not my problem. Biden, please help. Well, that's not why I'm here. I see these guys on the street. Every morning, I'm sitting out there and I'm talking to another guy who's just, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do. And I don't know what to tell them. So, this is a crisis. This is an emergency. States of emergency are necessary. And I don't hear anybody on the council calling for one. I don't hear anybody at the state level, but obviously you have more influence at the council level. I really want to see this being taken seriously because it doesn't feel serious.
I also want to be a devil's advocate and say that there are now people that have been in that shelter for 3 or 4 years and haven't moved. I know 4 or 5 people right now that been in the shelter for 4 years, haven't moved and lived in Bushwick all their lives. Not only that, have a voucher, no one wants to take it. So where is our priority and how are we going to do? So we really need to prioritize ourselves and making sure that we do have, because my mother always taught us, you can't take one sandwich and only give it to 5,000 people because we're not going to have enough to feed. So why not incubate and make sure that we take care of the people that were here, give them whatever they want, and then we can work with the people that are coming. But taking care of one and forgetting about the other is kind of disheartening. But we really need to. I know people right now that are constantly dying. I know a senior that's 73 years old. When the Breaking Bread activity came, when the mayor came, she was 73 years old, sleeping in a car. Okay. 73, and I have Miss Spellings here with me that can verify that she said that she is homeless and they're taking care of people from the outside. And I've been here all my life and no one's helping me. And then we had some of the elected officials that were there and says, well, we're assisting her. So if you're assisting her and she has a voucher, why is she sleeping in the car? And why are you not forcing these homeowners to take those vouchers? So let's be realistic. You can have a voucher and you can give them anything they want. But if the owner don't want to take it, guess what? You're up the creek with a paddle.
So I'll just respond to a couple of things. One, I am the daughter of an undocumented person. So you're speaking to someone who understands this experience. First and foremost, the council has done a number of actions between press conferences, hearings, statements, letters. We have called on the governor, the mayor, and the federal government to treat this like an emergency. However, recognizing the council does have limited power, we are preempted by state and federal government. We cannot change the law in it. The council introduced a bill recently to prevent the 60-day eviction. So there are things that are moving forward that we're trying to do. Additionally, the council passed a set of bills to deal with city vouchers that would get people who have been stuck in the shelter system out of it. That was a whole package. And a part of that was to include utilities in the voucher. The mayor vetoed it. We then overrid his veto. Now they're trying to sue. So we are in a situation where we are presenting long-term overdue solutions and not being met halfway. So that's the state of affairs. I'm not even inserting my opinion on it. That is objectively the facts of where we are at. The administration is also suing along with the governor to end the right to shelter. What does that mean to put a pause on the right to shelter? It means people out on the streets. We have an eviction moratorium ended. There are housing eviction court is overwhelmed. People who are entitled to assistance for a lawyer to help them navigate that are going through the process without these lawyers because they are so overwhelmed. I cannot get housing attorneys that we fund through the city to support a number of cases here in this neighborhood because they are overwhelmed. So if you are a homeowner and you want to take people in with vouchers, raise your hand and we will help you find someone. If you know somebody who's willing to put their money where their mouth is on this issue, we are ready, willing and able to help you find someone. Truly. But we are in a very serious crisis. And to be honest, there's no easy way through it. There are going to be more people on the streets. A lot of people in this room don't want to see people on the streets. When the people are on the streets by their houses, they call us and they want it cleared out. So we're in a bad cycle. And I really am hoping that we can find our way through. But we really need to move with compassion. And we are not pitting people arriving with a flip-flop against people who have been here. Everybody deserves a place to stay that's dignified, that's safe. Everybody deserves to have food, to take care of their babies. What's happening is unfortunate, and it's a long problem going on well before I was born, and I'm about to be 40. So, I think we're all and I'm open to ideas about how this community can support folks, both long-term folks in the shelter and folks who are arriving. I'm really proud of what Bushwick has done. There's been so many community groups doing clothing drives, diaper drives, food drives. I mean, everybody's stepping up, and that really shows me that we care so much. But there are the feelings of that. But those folks are not, the folks who are new arrivals are not taking any of your benefits. There are different funding streams. Your food benefits, your WIC, your SNAP, all of that stuff is a federally funded program that is not coming from city money. They're not taking your stuff, just so we're clear. And then finally, on the jobs piece, they did issue a TPS for folks from Venezuela. So they are now able to apply for a work permit, but it is a hard process and there are not enough lawyers, unfortunately, who can help people do this. So if you have experience in that and you want to offer your time, please reach out to our office. We'd be happy to connect you where you are most needed.
Yep. Go ahead. Yes, we have a couple on Zoom as well. So Ms. Bennett, and then I know we have folks that have raised their hands on Zoom. We'll get to you right after Ms. Bennett.
One of the things that I've noticed. Hello? Okay. Excuse me, Joanna Bennett. One of the things that I've noticed, because I've been searching for apartments, and they will advertise apartments on Zillow and other places as affordable. And then they'll say that, okay, they accept Section 8, and then they'll ask for, you must have good credit.
Yeah.
And to me, this is just another form of discrimination. Just as if I don't want you in my restaurant, I can just raise the prices as high as I want. And that's keeping out a certain element. And I'm wondering what can be done about this to say that people must have good credit in order to apply for affordable housing.
I believe that would be a state action. I know at the city, we have asked our legislative division to try to draft what could it look like for a New York City specific credit rating. So if you pay your bills on time and you do your utilities and, you know, whatever other payments you have, that maybe the city could make a parallel system that could be something to be another form of showing that you're people who pay, you know, you're somebody who pays on time. But I agree.
Okay, we'll come back to in person. The folks on Zoom have been very patient. I know Ms. Smith has raised her hand. I see Tashana, and then I see Zulma, and I know we also have Anna from the council member's office. So Barbara, if you want to go first.
Hello, thank you. Hello, Councilwoman Nurse. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm going back to something very old that I had asked you about. I'm still trying to see if we can get a PAL in Bushwick. I'm hearing money's going here to the parks, money's going there. No money's going towards our teenagers. And I believe if we get a PAL in Bushwick, the one at 127, our previous council person, Espinal, he put money in that building. We got to do something for our teenagers. The parks is going to be beautiful. The grass is going to be growing and everything, but our kids still are out on the corner running around and hurting themselves. So how can we get a PAL in Bushwick? You said it has to be an organization to get it started. And I'm like, a lot of people say, no, it didn't happen like that at 127 Penn. I need your help.
The example of 127 Penn has a long history. And a lot of that was done with de Blasio. It was, part of the rezoning. It was kind of a negotiated thing in the middle of a thing. And to be honest, it wasn't, well, whatever. The point is, it was a very specific process that happened, and I can follow up with you about that. But as I mentioned, we did request funding or consideration from the governor for a teen center, which could look a lot of different ways.
All right, thank you, Tashana, Zulma, and then Anna.
Yes, good evening.
Hi.
Thank you.
Oh,
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Zulma,
Councilwoman.
hold on one moment. It's
Oh,
Tashana
I'll mute
first.
myself.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tashana.
Hi, I have a couple of things. One, when we speak about the affordable housing, not like Ms. Bennett was speaking about, it's not only the good credit, it's also when we look at Housing Connect, the AMIs, and it's not really reflecting the truth of the income in, I believe, because what's happening is landlords are getting several roommates and then putting it under one lease. So it may look like, yes, Bushwick is bringing a family of 3 is bringing home 120 or 140,000, and that's not correct. So like, how do we go about fighting that? Because the AMIs, when I look at Housing Connect, it's not making sense compared to the consensus of people that I know living in Bushwick and how much they make as far as in families. Kids cannot bring home, kids are not making any money. So if you have 2 adults and 3 children, and then they saying for a family of 5, you need to have at least 90 to 130K making, that's really impossible. And this is on Housing Connect. I'm not talking about regular residential landlords.
No, thank you for that. And 100% agree. The AMI is set by the federal government. And for those of you who don't know, it includes Westchester in it. So it brings up our averages. And there's been a lot of desire to change that. But again, that's something that needs to be done at the federal level. And anytime that we have a project brought before us where we are able to negotiate AMIs, our priority, and I say this publicly, I say it in negotiations, is to get multifamily units below 60% AMI. And that's what we fight for. And try to get more than just 1 bedrooms for people. We want to get 3 bedrooms so actual families can live in these at the 40%, at the 60% AMI. That's been our baseline. There haven't been too many projects brought before us from Bushwick, but hopefully that will change and there'll be some more opportunities.
All right, thank you, Zuma, and then Anna.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Councilwoman Sandy Nurse. Thank you for your explanation on what's been going on, especially with the seekers that we have in our community. My question to you is, I'm glad you clarified that the funding is not being taken away from us and it's coming federal. Can you just explain to me why did the mayor himself come on TV and telling us now that we have to cut our budget almost by 5%? That makes it very hard for me to even suggest or hire people.
Yeah,
so I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, just to clarify, your certain benefits you are entitled to as a U.S. citizen, those individuals are not entitled to. So one of the things that people were, I don't know where they got this talking point, maybe, Fox News, I don't know, but was that, oh, they're coming, they're taking my money for my children or my food stamp money. And that was just inaccurate because those individuals are not actually entitled to get that benefit. So that was what I meant to clarify. So a couple things, and I'm really glad that Parks came up here because Parks has no money. And this board knows that we beg Parks to take care of our little parks here. And oftentimes we have to ask the 83rd to step in where parks enforcement should be, and they do, and we thank them. But the mayor had actually announced that there will be potentially up to 15% cut across the agencies, including even a overtime reduction plan required from the NYPD, which means it is very serious. And so that is the reality that's going to be happening as we move through January through July 1st. I would really request that this board be strong and strong advocates as we move through the next 8 months, because we are going to need your voices to fight for things. 15% cuts is a cliff, a serious cliff. Some of that is because the federal COVID stimulus money is now over. And, it was up to a certain period. So some of that money is over, and we don't really have a plan for what we can do to replace that. So there are different agencies that are going to be proposing different cuts, and what you're going to see for the next 8 months is just a lot of fighting and fighting for holding on to what we think are top priorities for our people. So making sure we have enough lawyers to make sure people have a lawyer in housing court, making sure that we get some money for more housing, making sure that we get more people hired to do recertification of food stamps or to have more inspectors for HPD to deal with code violations. Like all of that is at jeopardy. We don't have enough people who are working in these agencies. So if you know somebody who wants to work for the city, tell them to apply. We need people working there so that we can actually deliver the services, the basic social safety net that this city is supposed to be providing. So we got a long road ahead of us. I would recommend all the chairs of the subcommittee write letters for the budget hearings. Like, I'm happy to let you know the dates, but we really could use you because, people don't look to Bushwick. Big power players don't look to Bushwick because they don't think they can get votes here. That's just the strain. This is the plain as possible. I can say it. You need political power in order to get things. And this community does not have that strong political power yet. And so I really encourage us all to get involved. We have a borough president. Yes, we do. We did. And he's advocating for, yeah. Yes. Yes. I know, but we don't vote like they do in Park Slope. But I'm not saying that to bring anybody down, just saying we got work to do. And I need your help, not for me, for us, for our parks, for our resources. So again, I know y'all have a long meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions on the side, or you can come to me anytime. My office, our information is back there, but I'm happy to continue the dialogue, outside of this meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember. And you heard it here. This is the call to action. Please do not be surprised when things change, when we hear about the budget cuts. So I'm happy to do whatever is necessary on behalf of the board as usual. And we will certainly continue these conversations on the committee level. I know we have Anna from Councilmember Gutierrez's office who's been waiting. Thank you, Anna.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. I'm Anna Bessendorf. I'm the Chief of Staff for Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez. I just wanted to answer the question about the HERC because it is in our district. So I wanted to provide a little bit more information. I'm happy to answer other questions about it. We're in regular contact with HPD, who is running the site, as well as the provider, which is a company called Garner. The site is single adult men, and it was about 500 folks living there. They recently increased the capacity, so it's now closer to 700 men who are staying there. As Councilmember Nurse mentioned, the transition on that first 60-day notice was quite a bit of chaos with the rain, and we were really trying to push City Hall to stop folks from having to move into that rainstorm, and they did pause it after people had already moved out. Right now, folks are coming in and out on a daily basis because of the 60-day notices. The population is changing over with some frequency, but a lot of these folks are employed and do work in various roles in the community and throughout New York City. I also want to share that we organized a training a couple of weeks ago with the New Immigrant Community Empowerment and with NICE, and they did a training for the folks of the HERC about their rights as new New Yorkers, as well as some of the rules that we need to follow as New Yorkers, how a MetroCard works and how parks close after a certain hour. You can't just hang out and consume alcohol openly on the street. So we wanted to ensure that everyone had the same kind of information that we all have, because that information is not being shared when folks first come here. We've previously organized a clothing drive for folks in the HERC. We're happy to coordinate more donations, and we're also supporting the site with language access. So that's just some of the resources that we're providing them to help ease the transition into this community. But I'm happy to answer any other questions about the asylum seekers that are here in our district.
No, we want to thank you, but we want to make sure that that this community and the community board, the agencies are supposed to come to us and tell us that they raised that. Also, they were supposed to come and tell us, they indicated to us, to this board, and my district manager and myself, we wanted that bike rack to be removed from that location because there's tenants on the other side. And we wanted it to move it to an area to make it convenient for them where they're going to get in to help them. As of yet, HPD ain't answer. We even did the job ourselves and sent pictures. As of yet, no one came to this community board. And under the city charter, they're supposed to serve us. So I got to go to Antonio Reynoso, to our borough president, to tell HPD to do their job.
We've
That's
also
a slap in the
asked
face.
HPD We've also asked HPD to move the bike rack. So it's not just your advocacy, we're also.
No, I understand that,
advocating
but
for
they
it as
never
well.
told us that there were 500 when there were 500. They didn't tell us that they add 200 more.
They didn't tell
Okay.
us that either. We only learned when
I
we
know. Well,
arrived.
guess
Yeah.
what? They're lying, and they need to stop lying and stop talking to this community because we're voters and we're human. And we need to stop being treated like second-class citizens. Because if it was in Staten Island, they closed Staten Island down. All right? Because you got those people in Staten Island because they're Republicans and they come out with that rah-rah and they don't want us here. So we need to stop this. And we need to turn around and stop and represent this community. All of us, period, done deal. We need to cut this out. All these city agencies, they work for us. So let's constantly calling, sending emails, and what they do, they don't even listen to us. But if someone from Queens or someone from some other borough, they're running there with a plate, like be my guest. We're tired. Our people are hurting. There's got to be a time when you got to stop it. We got people dying in our projects just to survive, to eat. And everybody's playing games with people's lives.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho, and thank you, Anna. We certainly know that these are very difficult times, not just in the city, but on a much, much larger level. And all we want is for the safety and well-being of everyone. I think that's why we're all here. That's why we all care about this community. So we are going to close this public hearing out. We know sometimes we have our elected officials that join us. We thank them for being here and, of course, answering all the questions we have. We will now move on to the regular meeting. Board members, please be ready for the first roll call. If you have not signed in, please sign in up front. All right, Isa Abney. Stephanie Anderson is excused. Joanna, oh, yeah, please mute if you're not speaking, folks. Joanna Bennett is present in person. Joshua Brown is here. Makiba Brown-Elaine is here. Raul Brown. All right, Robert Camacho. Present. Melissa Carrera Solano is excused. Felix Ceballos is excused. Christian Tate. Okay, was here. Oh, got you. Thank you. All right. Andrew Choi. Elvina Davis is here. Jasmine de Santiago Diaz. Cecilia Fabian. Freddie Fowler is excused. Joanna Fuentes is excused. Christopher Graham is present. Ann Guiney, present. Zachary Hendrickson, present. Tanisha Honeygan,
Present.
Barbara Jackson, present. Kaisha Johnson, present. Virgie Jones is excused. Tara Jones Thomas. Luisa Jose is present. Nicholas Kaplan, present. Edward Kopp, present. Cassandra LeVay has resigned. Christine Malden.
Present on Zoom.
Gotcha. Raman Mama. Mary McClellan. Desmond Monroe. Desmond Monroe, excuse me. Desmond Monroe is excused. Zuma Navoa.
President, Zoom.
Gotcha. Levi Ornstein Wolf. Caitlin Penner. Asaya Polite. Raul Rubio. Present. Eliseo Ruiz. Present. Milagro Sandoval. Present. Bernardina Shell is excused. Barbara Smith.
Present.
Maria Soler is excused. Dustin Somborn. Present. Annette Spellin. James Stewart. Present. Jessica Tiburcio. Present. Ben Tucker. Present. Jerry Valentine.
Present.
Shoshana Wade.
Present.
This is Issa. I'm here. I wasn't on panelist yet.
Gotcha, Issa. Anyone else? Oh, got you. Okay.
Select.
Yes.
I'm Felix Ceballos. I'm present in Zoom.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Thank you.
33 board members present. That constitutes quorum. Anyone that has not signed in, please sign in. All right. Moving on to the acceptance of the agenda is. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we have a motion. We have a motion from Barbara Jackson to accept the agenda. Seconded by Ms. Davis. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. Is there a motion? Annette Spellin made a motion. By who? Barbara Jackson. I need a name, folks. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Thank you. And the chairperson's report, Mr. Camacho.
Okay. No, I was told to cut my my meetings because everybody see me in all these meetings, so they want me to cut it short. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read out some of the important meetings that I went to, and also our council person that was here. I just wanted to let her know, yes, I was at the hearing, and I'm gonna read my statement in regards to what I was in detail. I also want to let the people for 120 Manhattan that was in that fire, God bless them and protect them and keep them in our prayers. Also, Mr. Freddie Fowler, our veteran and our troop. He's in the hospital, so our thoughts and prayers for Mr. Freddie Fowler. Please keep him in our prayers. Come on, guys. You know I went to the 8th precinct clergy, and it was good because I told them everything I'd done bad for the week. They just blessed me, so I was very happy that they blessed me. So it's very good to hear that the churches want to work with us and make sure that we're all together and help us in any way. I just wanted to include the intro 0160-2022, exempt from the noise code. Music oriented from an inner space that would be a space like a restaurant or bar, a club, or a weed spot. They're going to try to exempt that from noise code. Intro 1194-2023, a cap on the fines and violations to $5 from the offense was reported by DEP Environmental Protection to $10 if they reported by a citizen who is sick and tired of being harassed by noise for profit coming from a community business, neighborhood business. Sound bar, it gets worse. The LU 0012-2022 adopts a resolution 53 passed by City Council on 2022, allow all restaurants to keep their facilities open all the time they are in operation. And local law 121 passed by City Council in August mandates restaurants and bars must be allowed to operate from 10 a.m. anywhere to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. So when a.m., I'm sorry. So when the kids go to school and it's a Monday outdoor restaurant, even in a residential neighborhood, call your council. Put it all together. Under these common 4 laws, restaurants can keep their windows open 14 hours a day, blasting music in the street and homes of nearby residents with no fear of a big fine, then the cost of a sandwich, which is not true. I'm going to change that topic because I went to a place on Bushwick Avenue with Celeste that the individual came to this meeting that he wanted that employment program that we had on Broadway, on Bushwick Avenue. And the sandwich cost me, just to be a good neighbor, $14.50. I told Celeste I am never going to that place again. I am very serious. We get complaints constantly and videos from people in this community with their kids crying in the background because the outdoor dining and the restaurant, the community board did 10 o'clock, closed everything down, sheds in the back, roof in the top. Now it's going to be 12. So when they finish partying outside at 12, they'll come inside. So get ready. Get ready. I know we had an audit. Celeste will fill us in on the audit. It was an audit with no fault of our own, none at all. Because I know Borough Hall is our HR. So we need to correct that. Also, what else? The permits and licenses, take of the board. Thank you, everyone that participated in the district needs town hall, everyone that were there. The borough consultation, all the city agencies, they're wonderful, but we're gonna get them this time around because there are things that they never took care of. But other than that, that is it. So we got to go to those hearings, just like our council person said, because the squeaky wheel gets the most grease. So we got to make sure that we fight for this community. I guess that is it.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Camacho's report? I see some smiles. All right. I see a hand in the back. Please, we'll bring a mic. Yeah, we'll bring a mic towards you. Yeah, just for folks on Zoom. Yeah.
So how do we find out about these board meetings, about this noise thing?
So, well, this hearing Mr. Camacho is talking about is a city council hearing. So the board
Okay.
is generally advised of those by the city council. So I would suggest if you're interested in any city council hearings, you direct your questions to the city council member.
Okay.
But the board is generally informed as well, just because we also participate in city government, and it's sent to board members if they're interested, to committee members if they're interested. So you may also find out about it in a committee meeting, but I would say the most direct resource is your city council member.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Any other questions? Anything on Zoom? I see a hand. Zuma?
Yes, hi. Thank you, Mr. Camacho, for that wonderful reporting. Just quick, if I was hearing that correctly. So noise can be almost 14 hours a day with no fine and so forth. And if that's the case, does that mean that the act that was implemented back in 1972, which has to do with the noise control, is out the window? And that's an act, by the way, federal act across the United States. Just curious. So I can make sure that I'll leave soon.
Yeah, they saying it short and sweet. They're also working on that that thing that they supposed to be noise that the DEP is supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be lowering something like that. So whatever you think may not be the noise, to them may be party. So obviously that's gonna go down the drain too. So get ready for a party.
We can request an update if it's helpful from our city council members at the next Environmental Protection Committee. I see some heads nodding. Okay, I'm going to take that as a let's do it. All right. Anything else? Last call for Mr. Camacho? Seeing none, we will move on. Thank you, Mr. Camacho. We now have the introduction of elected officials or representatives. Any folks that are here, please come up to the front. Mr. Camacho will hand you the mic. Anyone on Zoom, please raise your hand. Name and contact information only right now. We'll let the folks in person go first, and then we'll go to Zoom.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bancourt. I'm here on behalf of Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez, and our phone number is 718-599-3658.
I'll get you next time.
Hi, Lacey Tauber with Borough President Reynoso's office, 718-37. Wait, he said all these numbers. It messed up my 718-802-3700. There you go.
You got it.
All right. Wait, one more in person.
Pablo Rivera from Assemblyman Eric Dillon's office. We are 366 Cornelia. Phone number there is 718. I'm sorry because it's that I'm not in the office. So it's 386-4576. But my number is 347-739-4818. Okay, and you can reach me there for any events or problems or whatever you want to speak about with the Assemblyman.
Thank you, Pablo. And then we just elected officials right now, so we're going to go to Zoom. Yep, I see Anna, then Fran, then Maria. Go ahead, Anna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Bessendorf from Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez's office. Our district office is at 244 Union Avenue, and our phone number is 718-963-3141.
Go ahead, Fran.
Hi, everyone. This is Fran, Councilmember Sandy Nurse's office. Our office is at 56 Pennsylvania Avenue, and our phone number is 718-642-8664.
Thank you. Maria?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Valdez from the Office of Senator Julia Salazar. We're located at 212 Evergreen Avenue. Phone number is 718-573-1726.
Thank you. All right. Any city agencies or nonprofits, community-based organizations, this is your time. Name and contact info.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make believe I'm way, okay?
Good evening, everyone. I'm from Brooklyn Public Library, the Washington Irving Branch, 360 Irving Avenue. Our telephone number is 718-628-8378. Thank you.
And your name.
Samantha Edwards.
Thank you. All right. We have some other folks.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kwebe Koti. I'm from the Bushwick Film Festival. My phone number is 347-450-3464. Thank you.
Long time no see, Kwebe.
Yeah, she don't get old neither, right?
All right. Anyone on Zoom, agencies or community? Oh, we have someone else. Yes. Sorry about that.
Good evening. I'm Nalisha from Leesburg Community Partnership. My phone number is 646-795-0078. I specifically manage the Neighborhood 360 grant, so working on some of the commercial avenues, but I also work with the Community Affairs team, which is located at 85 Melrose.
Thank you. Anyone else in person before we go to Zoom? Nonprofits or agencies? All right, any agencies? I see a hand. Denise, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Denise Watkins from STO Flushing Family Residences. My telephone number is 718-326-5950.
Thank you. I see no other hands, no one else in person. We will move on now to the 83rd precinct. I was told by Officer Lopez that the commanding officer was not available. Just in case anyone else was available to join, now is the time. If you are here, anything? Officer Lopez, you good? All right. Thank you for being here. All right. Okay. We will move on now.
Nah, Celeste is not gonna go after you because you want to do.
We will move on. So to the district manager's report, that is my report. So good evening, everyone, and happy belated Indigenous Peoples Day and Hispanic Heritage Month. I hope you've been able to enjoy some of the seasonal activities and events in Bushwick and the city at large. I want to emphasize, we know there's so much going on, but it's really important now more than ever that when we have time to be with each other, that we just take a moment to be with each other because we really don't know what's coming next. So, thank you to everyone who's here today and participating in this meeting. I also want to extend that thanks. We've already talked a little bit about the budget, so I'll move through that. I will extend our appreciation to the Department of City Planning, specifically Kyra Cuevas, the board's new liaison from the Brooklyn office, and the planning support team as well. They helped make our District Needs Town Hall happen. Some of you that were there, you may have seen the larger posters where we did the stickering activity. They printed those posters, so without their assistance, we wouldn't have been able to make it as engaging as it was. We want to keep building on that event. So we welcome anyone that wants to get more involved, board members, members of the public. We welcome your thoughts and ideas, and we appreciate you for being involved. And I'm also happy to announce that Community Board 4 has a new part-time community liaison. Adelina Rivera is here. Welcome. Finally, thank you. So she will be assisting the board's Environmental Protection, Transportation, Sanitation, Parks and Rec Committee, the Health Committee, which also includes Human Services, and veterans, seniors and veterans, and then the Youth and Education Committee, as well as helping with purchasing, block parties, and other district office administrative tasks. I also submitted 3 projects to the Fund for the City of New York's Fellowship Program on behalf of the board. One is a cultural archive and mapping project. This is a longtime project for the Arts, Culture, Technology Committee. You'll be hearing more from the committee chair, Dustin Sanborn, on that soon. Also a 311 comparative data analysis. That's for the district office committee, as well as a community board resource library, which is both for the district office as well as hopefully for community boards citywide. So more information will be available as the fellows are assigned. And of course, I've included the meetings and events I've attended in the past month. I flagged a few that I just want to highlight, although there are others that folks can read at their leisure. We talked a little bit about the migrant shelter. I just want to assure everyone that even though we may not always receive information from HPD, we are included in meetings with all of our elected officials whenever it comes to having conversations with the agencies about what's going on. So there was a meeting on Friday, September 22nd, where we did in fact have a conversation prior to the first 60-day notice, where we talked through what may or may not happen. And we were able to make sure that HPD understood how serious we are in one, assisting the migrants in the district, but also making sure that the line of communication is open. The same day, there was also a youth intervention meeting. We know that youth are at risk. We know that the pandemic was hard. We know that mental health is a concern. There are folks that are actively working on this. Many of you know Miss Anita Haynes, Ujima, you have Cassia, Paula Melendez. There are a lot of folks that are really paying attention to this, and you'll be hearing a little bit more about what they're doing soon. Also, I can't leave out Mr. Barnes. He would get me. So Mr. Barnes is also working on this with countless others that are specifically involved with helping the youth. The same day, there was also a street vendor outreach. We know that street vendors, it's a very complicated topic. We know a lot of people have thoughts about it. We know that businesses are concerned. We also know that this is the way that a lot of folks try to make a living. The board is well aware of those issues. If you have any specific questions, thoughts, complaints, please let us know. I also want to thank the council member's office for their leadership on this. They organized the outreach activity. They invited us to participate, and Kim was able to join them from our office. And let's see, later on, I already announced this, and there was a meeting with the Living City Project. So through one of my conversations with city planning, they were able to connect the Living City Project to the board's office. We will be working with their City Gap cohort. So we have 10 college students that are specifically assigned to Bushwick to talk about what the board needs. Let's take advantage of it. So you'll be hearing more about that as we move along. We also have, I want to thank my colleagues, the Future of Community Boards Working Group, which includes district managers citywide. Usually I try to host those meetings on a monthly basis. I was unable to host the one on October 12th, and I appreciate colleagues for stepping in to make sure those conversations can continue. They are very helpful as it relates to operations and all the things the boards are going through, which we'll hear a little bit more about when we get into the Permits and Licenses Committee report. And then, that's to be revealed soon. And then the last thing I have here is the Independent Budget Office, CEC, Civic Engagement Commission Community Board Workshop. I participated, was really interested to get a sense of what they were going to speak about. It was a great introduction to the city's budget as a whole. They are the independent, want to underline that, budget office. So they will be providing independent information on what's happening with the city's budget. I encourage all board members to participate. There was a little bit of confusion when they talked about the community board's budget. We do not get $400,000. We get much less. A portion of what that estimate could be is most likely our rent. It is also the distinction between the staff, what the staff get paid versus what the actual other than personnel services. So what the actual operational budget is much closer to about $26,000 per year. So just want to make that distinction. And the district office committee, as well as the executive board, gets a full briefing on exactly what that money is spent on.
Celeste is always saying a little bit, but you don't say it's a little bit.
Exactly. So that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone, and we'll keep it moving. Any questions?
Yeah, you forgot the EE.
Oh, the audit. Thank you, Mr. Camacho, for the reminder. So I did submit the preliminary response. There were 4 corrective actions. The first one of which was the board failed to train the chairperson to be able to meet the Equal Employment Commission. Long story short, the board relies on Borough Hall for human resources. The borough president is also charter mandated to train. This is something the Equal Employment Practices Commission is aware of, but this is just the process we have to go through to make sure that it's on record that is, in fact, the law. So Borough Hall is already in action on this. They've sent emails to all of the chairpersons. So Mr. Camacho will be completing the training as soon as he can. And we will go from there. There were also two other corrective actions with pretty much the same. Once we receive information from Borough Hall, I forward it to the staff. They have a record of that email. It was not sufficient. They wanted me, I believe, to specifically put in language that the staff should use the borough president's office when it is common knowledge that we use the borough president's office for. So I said, if I need to do that, then I will send that specific language in the preliminary response. And then the last was in reference to two trainings. Both were in reference to new hires and interviewing and making sure that both the district manager and the chairperson are prepared. It was only offered to myself and there were only two and they were both in person. For one of those trainings, I was out of the office sick, and for the other one, we were short-staffed, so I had no choice but to be in the office. So I indicated I'm more than happy to take any training. I welcome training, but it just needs to be available, beyond 2 dates that may not work. So I think that that's a, fair response to this audit. Everything else, we got a ton of check marks. Happy to report, and that is my report on that.
Yeah, those little 3 reports that she had to do a report for a report that we never get that we didn't have to do, but obviously it was done.
All right. I don't know if there are any other questions for my report. Yes. Wait for the mic. Wait for the mic. It's coming to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Walk around with a mic. Celeste, you mentioned 10 college students. Will these 10 college students be residents of Bushwick?
So I don't know where the students are from, but we will be meeting with them. There are a few committee chairpersons that have already confirmed their participation. I was referred to let me see if I can remember all of them, Civic Committee, to the Youth and Education Committee, as well as Housing and Land Use. So we're going to have a meeting to learn a little bit more about the individual students on November 1st. But then I can always report back and let folks know. All right. Anything else? All right. Seeing none, hearing nothing on Zoom, we will keep it moving with the committee reports. We only have 2 this evening. First one being Economic Development and Housing and Land Use. Anne.
I know you're 8. Don't fall asleep on me. All right.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I deputized Christian to do this for me because I have to leave a little early. I asked to be excused, but I have plenty of time to do this. So I'm just going to pull up the notes I sent. So the Housing and Land Use Committee met on September 26th, and we had a presentation prepared by Christian Celeste Tate, our new board member, who I think a lot of you guys know. This is the 10-year anniversary of when we sent a letter, the Housing and Land Use Committee and Community Board 4, to city agencies and the administration saying, hey, there's a lot going on in Bushwick. What is going on? We need to educate ourselves about what are the tools that we can use. That launched the Bushwick Community Plan, which was a comprehensive 5+ year planning process that looked at everything from land use and housing to economic development to health to culture to landmarks and preservation, really just trying to how can we envision a better future? Fast forward, 10 years happened, passed, the city shot it down. Christian did a terrific data analysis looking at what has happened since. So looked at where housing has been built, how much of it is affordable, at what levels of affordability it is, where LLCs, which are often investor-owned housing, where that's most dominant. Christian gave us an amazing presentation. It is in your Google Drive. Anyone who's having trouble access, just reach out. We can either email it to you, what have you. Short, to the point, really, really powerful. So heartily recommend it. So our recommendation was to reach out to our electeds and the agencies and say specifically, there is a fair amount of city-owned land. How can we move forward on actually turning some of that into permanently deeply affordable? And also, what are the other tools in your respective toolboxes to help us advance the agenda that we articulated in the Bushwick Community Plan? So that we voted on. That is all. That was our only thing. Finally, very briefly, there was a great district needs assessment Mr. Camacho mentioned, and then an affordable housing workshop online from the Borough President's Office, which heartily recommend. Anyone who wants to learn more about affordable housing, there are resources for you to learn about that just reach out to me, Celeste, and we can point you towards it. Finally, Homeowners Resource Fair, go. This is all, there's a lot of different agencies that are going to be there with the tools to help, especially long-term homeowners, stay in their houses. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. We're on a roll tonight. Yeah. Round of applause.
I know I get yelled at for going on long, so I'm working on it.
She's trying to get in. She's trying to get out of here as fast as she can. She got her bag over there. I know. She waiting for Uber or whatever car service to pick up. And you taking the subway? That's even worse. Not money kidding.
Any questions, folks? All right, and just one last thing. I always have to say this, but the one thing that I would add is just the other question we have is for HPD regarding pending projects. We want to know exactly how they are accommodating our requests within their existing resources. So we will find out from our council members. Thank you, Anne, and I don't see anything else from folks, so we will move it along. Safe travel. Yeah. Yes, it was also emailed. So the report that Anne is sharing right now, it was emailed to all of the board members this evening. If you cannot access it.
Hopefully, maybe we can have him come in November if we have time. So I want him to come in front for you can really see anyone that was here in 2010 when he had people from the outside coming in here protesting and stopping the plan that we were trying to do. Where are they now? And the houses that we lost now while the 10 years was up and all these developments came in here and did the Christopher Columbus syndrome and throwing them natives out. Think about that one. And I want you to see it. Don't listen to me. Look at it, watch it, look at the numbers and you see how much LLC, limited liability, and the people that are coming in here and taking over your hood. Now, a lot of people don't like me to say hood, but it's my neighborhood, so I want to be like the South, and make sure neighborhood, so we really need to address the needs and the concerns that we're having here. And why isn't the city, because we're not doing a land use change, not taking care of the land that's empty now and creating deeply affordable for our seniors and for our people and community credit. We talk about home ownership programs. There's Riseboro. We want to know what happened with Riseboro that was trying to get some of the areas and funding that HPD say all of a sudden everything went up. Home ownership programs along Halsey, Broadway. That whole area that the lot is there, that's city-owned land. Whatever happened to the housing parking lot that we wanted, the affordable housing that they're using as 100 cars? What happened to that lot? There are things there that we need. Someone said the PAL right there of the Board of Education has an empty on Madison and Bushwick Avenue. That whole place they're using as a parking lot and it's closed. Why not do a community center there? There's land here, but they don't want to give it to us. So we need to fight for it.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. I don't see any other questions or hands raised. All right, so we will move on to permits and licenses to Shauna.
Hello, everyone. So as you guys know, I'm here acting as a chairperson for Christine until she come back. So we went from 2 to 10 10 vendors in a week, right, Celeste?
Yes, yeah, less than a week. There were two cannabis retail applications submitted on the Tuesday when we sent the notice out. Within a few days, we had received over 10 new applications.
So I'm going to make this short and sweet. However, I hope everyone was able to join that Zoom training on cannabis use. It's called the Roadmap to Adult Use Application for Community Board Follow-up. I know Mr. Camacho was there. I do remember hearing from Barbara as well. They also sent out an email with the PowerPoint and just adult use license facts, a lot of stuff, a lot of good information for those who will be attending the meeting and asking questions. Your questions will be answered if you were to look over these documents. One, we can give a 30-day extension request. We have a 30-day extension request procedure. Also, we do not have to allow them to stay open to 2 in the morning. Because there are, when I go over the report, there are some that ask to be open to 2 in the morning. Okay, so let me jump into the report. So first, we had Evja, I never say this word right, but Artworks Inc., 299 Knickerbocker Avenue, located between Hart Street. They were a card member. They intended hours was Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. or 11, and Saturday and Sunday through Saturday through Sunday from 8 to 2. It was a recommendation to have Sundays at 12, but now also with more information about 2 a.m., maybe a suggestion to the board would be, we don't have to give it to 2 a.m. on Saturdays. So I'll say that. What else? We also have Cannabis Girl at 590 Bushwick Avenue, between Melrose and Amron Place, not a card applicant. And their hours is at least 5 days a week between 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Exact days were not specified. Also, just to give more clarity, these people are bidding on these spaces. So there is a chance that they may not get the space. So that's one of the reasons why I guess the time and hours are so ambiguous. Sorry. Let's move on to Caffeine LLC, 892 Whitecroft Avenue, located on Hancock Street and Whitecroft Avenue. Another not card member. Their intended hours is Monday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. The owner plans to close early on certain days, however, it's not confirmed. Recommendation was put for Sundays for 12 a.m. No, the fourth one was Plant-Based Cannabis, 8 Wilson Avenue, not a card applicant. Their hours Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. and Saturday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Again, stipulation for hours for the establishment are until 12 a.m. on Sundays. Also, we have Lemon Haze LLC for Stanwick Street. They are on the corner of Jefferson Street and Stanwick Street. This applicant did not show to the committee, so we can skip over them. Sunny Day Dispensary LLC, 380 Troutman Street. Not a card applicant. Their hours will be 70 hours a week. Hours and days not specified, only confirmed. They will be closed 1 day out the week for administrative process. The next one is Devil Harvest LLC, 1444 DeKalb Avenue, located between Wilson Avenue and Knickerbocker Avenue. They are a card applicant. Their hours is Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Then we have Kachiba LLC, 1224 Flushing Avenue, located between Wyckoff Avenue and Irvin Avenue. And they intended hours is Monday through Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Thursday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. And on Sunday from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Then we have Everyday Dispensary, 214 Knickerbocker Avenue. This one is on the corner of Knickerbocker Avenue and Troutman Street. Their intended hours is Sunday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. and intends to operate delivery hours between 11 a.m. to midnight on all days. And last but not least, and if I am going too fast, I just want everybody to know that the report is in the email. Last but not least, 10 Skewville 237 Star Street, located between Irvin Avenue and Wyckoff Avenue. They are not car members. And their intended hours is Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. The committee mail review, we did not have any mail review. And I think that's pretty much it. See a hand up. Can you hear me, Celeste?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Did a wonderful job. Thank you. I appreciate that. You did a wonderful job. Out of 10, and that was 10. Imagine we didn't even get into the liquor. All right. So imagine. So I'm gonna try to see if we can form a cannabis committee. Not that you guys are gonna be smoking it or not like that, but we want to make sure that we gotta have a sense of humor, you know, but you guys don't have no sense of humor. Okay, listen. Okay, listen to this. Listen to this. It's 70 hours a week. It's 70 hours a week, guaranteed 10 hours a day. Correct?
Correct. But I think they could have variety with it, but it can't go over 70 hours a week.
Correct. And it can't no 10 hours a day.
I believe so, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. I know it's more than, but what I'm saying, under the cannabis, because we have the paper, is 70 hours a week, 10 hours a day. So if they get open up from 8, they close at 6, because it's 10 hours. If they open up a little later on, they can't pass 12. And they can't pass 3 or 2. So we got to make their hours accordingly, because I had spoken, when I went on Zoom and I spoke to the commissioner, and he indicated, yes, there is no 2 a.m., 12 a.m. They only do 10 hours. This is their spec, 70 hours a week. So it's 10 hours a day. They can choose whatever day they want. They can open from 10 to 6 is 10, or they can open later on and close, but nothing past 11 or 12. So the clock starts ticking at the 10 hours. So if they do 12 o'clock, it'll close at 10. Nothing past.
Also to add, they are the same rules for liquor license, how they are not to be close to a school, a certain proximity to a school, certain proximity to a house of worship applies for cannabis shops as well.
500 feet and 200 feet.
Okay. Thank you, Joanna Ben, because that was my question, because prior to that, we did not know if they had the same regulations as the liquor outlets. So that was one of my questions. The other one is, what is a card member or car member? I didn't quite understand. What is a car member and a non-car member? What does it mean?
Card member is those people that was arrested, that were given a chance to apply for these licenses. They have a card. Now it's open to anybody. So what happens is, when it's open to anybody and the landlord, I go to you and you're the landlord and I tell you, give me a lease. I'm doing cannabis and you give me a lease, doesn't guarantee that I'm going to have that place for that, because he's going to apply for the same place. She's going to apply for the same place. And then they'll get to choose who the ones that get to, according to what's going on. So it's like a lotto.
Yeah, I'll say CARD, CAURD, means conditional adult use recreational dispensary. So that's what they call it. The city labels it retail. I'm sorry, conditional adult use retail to sell cannabis. So with that, they're going through the formal process as opposed to having a smoke shop just selling weed.
Correct. Wait, we have one here? And one here. I'll be right with you.
These dispensaries are kind of like storefronts, correct? So are we also looking at the vans that are parked in Bushwick that are also selling?
The vans are illegal. Report them.
Report them. They are legal. No, they've been tagging them. We, on Troutman, Nick, they've been getting them.
Just please contact the board's office with more
Yeah, we'll take
information.
'em.
Please.
Those are illegal.
Also, I will
Knickerbocker-
put I will share the link that they have suspected violation or complaints. I will share the link that they gave us in the chat. I don't know if everybody else could see. it,
Thank
but-
you. We'll forward the information. It went to the Permits and Licenses Committee first, but we'll forward the information to all board members.
Thank you. So that's what I was going to clear up is that we were given a lot of good information at the presentation by OCM, one of which was a link that you can specifically use to complain to the OCM about the unlicensed and illegal spots. One of the things I want to make clear that also came out of this, so the hours, okay, the way the law is written, the hours are from 8 to 2 a.m. But we as a community board are allowed to say 2 a.m. is ridiculous. We're allowed to have a community standard. What we cannot do is restrict them to less than 70 hours a week. They can do it in 5 days as long as it's from 8 to whenever we say the end is. The other thing that was really the most revealing about this is that we have no say in who gets the license. All we do is approve the location. We say, yes, we are okay with a cannabis stop or shop in this address. And so the 500, 200 parks, churches, we can also designate as a community, hey, this park here is used by children all the time. This area over here, there's a community event here all the time. This place here, there's a senior event here all the time. And we can make those part of that. I don't know if it's going to be the 200 or 500, but that can also be rolled in. So we need to take a look into our community. Where are these locations that are constantly being used by the community for recreation and for, the opportunity to just get out and take a nice walk? Those are the places that we can restrict if we map them out and tell the OCM, we don't want these places to be in the areas.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Community Board Member Jessica here. On location, just want to know if we're also addressing how close in proximity the cannabis shops are from liquor stores as well.
That was my issue with that. Now we're supposed to.
Yeah, folks, Mr. Cobb, folks can't hear you without the mic. Yeah.
My questions is that now we're supposed to depend on the OCM, just like we're supposed to depend on SLA to make the right decision on where to put where. What they told us is that they map out when they say we approve this location, they are going to map out the 200 and then a 1,000 foot diameter for another cannabis related business. But we won't know. I mean, look, we haven't seen anything rolled out correctly yet.
And then someone only.
Question.
Yeah, hold on, Barbara. We got a few more in person, then we'll come to Zoom.
So how does this affect, if at all, any of the existing smoke shops that are already on some of the avenues? Do they also have to go through this process or?
They're all illegal. They
They're
should
all
be shut
illegal.
down.
Shut them down. Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry.
Also to clarify the initial licenses
they're not just for anybody who's been arrested. They're for folks who have specifically been arrested for marijuana crimes that are no longer illegal under the new law.
All right, thank you. Barbara, go ahead. And then Tanisha. Go ahead, Barbara.
Oh, hi. I think I heard her say, going to be delivering.
Yes, some are going to do delivery.
So
Yeah,
how
only
can you-
one.
Oh, it's one that you said they're going to be delivering?
Only one disclosed that they're going to do delivery.
How could they know if it's a kid, a 14 or 15-year-old ordering this over the phone? How do they?
Barbara, we don't even know if they will even get that license. There's a
That's
chance
true.
that they may not even get it.
Okay, we got to keep an eye on that.
Okay, go ahead, Tanisha. Tanisha, we're not able to hear you for some reason.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I
Oh, we
saw
can hear.
it.
Yeah, we
I
can
hit-
hear.
So sorry.
Oh, no problem. All right. So if there are no other questions, last call on this. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I'll just make a comment about the smoke shops. Like we have legal weed here in New York. With that, just beware. A lot of these smoke shops, they're not selling actual weed. They're selling hemp sprayed with THC distillate. So that's how they're able to sell the weed so cheaply. So if you do smoke, you want to go to an actual dispensary in New York or Jersey. But the smoke shops are selling the cheap weed because it's hemp, which has 0% THC, and they lay it all out and spray it with THC distillate. That's why it has like such a strong, pungent smell. So just for safety purposes, just be mindful.
Thank you, Josh. All right. I don't see anything else on Zoom. Nothing in person. We will move on now to recommendations, and we will start with New Yorkers for Parks. The presentation this evening. Is there a recommendation for the board? They are asking for support in achieving 1% for city parks. I see. Okay. Ben Tucker, motions for letter of support, seconded by Raul Rubio. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? So moved. Thank you. And next we have permits and licenses.
I make a motion that we make a blanket vote only according to the 7 hours and 10 hours and break them down where they don't pass X amount of hours, pass what they're supposed to pass.
I would- Yeah, I would just say separate the blanket vote from the actual recommendation. So start with the blanket and then do the recommendation separate, just to distinct, yeah. If
All
that,
right, I want to do a blanket vote for all 10 locations.
is there a second for a blanket vote? Second by Mr. Kopp, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. Okay, one at a time, please. Raul Rubio, Eliseo Ruiz, Alvina Davis, any other abstentions? Okay, Zoom. Novoa.
Abstain, I'm on Zoom.
Got you. Okay.
Barbara says no.
Okay, you oppose, Barbara?
Yes.
The blank, you oppose? Okay, all right. Any other opposed? All right, so
just a point of order to be clear, like, are we saying we're opposing the blanket vote or
yes,
opposing the
that's what folks are
resolution?
opposing right now, the
Correct.
blanket vote.
So what's the alternative to the blanket vote? We just go individually?
One by one.
One by one.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, so I have 4 opposed, Raul Rubio, Eliseo Ruiz, Alvina Davis, Zuma Novoa, and then Barbara Smith opposed. So moved. Blanket vote passes. Now, is there a motion for the recommendation for the applicants? And if I just may make a suggestion, the board may want to consider what end time. So not 2 a.m., we know, but what end time would the board like or think appropriate?
I think 11, 12 o'clock is fine, depending on certain days.
Correct.
And because, again, I'm over here on Wilson and Halsey, and there's supposed to be a shop that's supposed to sell weed, and they open all hours of the night, and it's a lot of It's like a lot of gathering. So I would say, just for everyone who's residential, maybe like 10 o'clock during the weekdays.
Okay. Weekdays, that's Monday to Friday, just to be clear, right? Is that what you are calling weekdays or
Well,
Monday
Monday,
to Thursday?
well, you could say Monday through Thursday, weekdays,
Okay.
because Friday.
To
is
10
a little
p.m.
different.
Okay, and then what is your recommendation for Friday and the
Friday
weekend?
could be
Yeah,
12,
Saturday.
12, Saturday, 12.
And then Sunday?
That's a good question. That, would you like 8, 9?
Do you need what are folks for Sunday? 10, to keep it uniform. We got a 10 p.m. So
Okay.
Sunday to Thursday. Sunday to Thursday to 10 p.m. and then Friday and Saturday to midnight. So my suggestion for these hours is anyone that is outside of these hours, meaning that they want to operate past them, then that's who will be set with these hours. But anyone who has less hours than this could just keep the hours that they shared. Are folks comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Everyone on Zoom?
Those hours? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Sunday to Thursday till 10 p.m. and Friday to Saturday till 12 a.m. And these hours would apply to only the applicants who did not specify like their hours being less than these times. So if they wanted more time, they would just be recommended to have these times. And then they figure out when they're opening. So that would be, we have to do the math, but they would have to calculate it. So they can open whenever they want theoretically, but this would just be the board recommending when to close. Okay?
They could open at 2 a.m. in the morning.
No.
No.
No, no.
No, they can't open
Yes,
at 2.
like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, exactly. So they would still have to meet 70 hours.
Yeah, 70 hours, but everything
Within the
closes
week.
at 10.
Yeah, everything would have to close
Get
at
it?
10.
So he got to break the hours according to themselves.
Yeah.
So that's even better.
Does that
than-
work? Sounds like
they-
that works for everyone. Does someone want to make a motion? Okay.
I motion.
Okay, Zach made it in person. Do you want a second, Tashana?
Felice Valle second.
I second.
Okay, Tashana seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got Raul Rubio opposed. Any other opposed? Okay, Eliseo Ruiz opposed. Anyone else opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain. This is Issa.
Yep. Hold up. Zuma, do you oppose?
I oppose.
Okay, Zuma. Any other opposed?
Barbara.
Barbara's opposed. Okay. Anyone opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Joanna Bennett? Anyone else? Who,
Issa.
say your name. Okay, Jessica. Any other abstentions? Hearing none.
Celeste, did you
So
catch
moved.
me?
What did
Sorry,
Issa, did you have
sorry.
something?
Yeah, I abstain. I don't know if I'm coming
Okay,
through.
no, it still moves, but I'll make a note that you have abstained.
Thank
okay.
you.
So moved, folks. We are done with recommendations unless the board has anything else. Going once, going twice. Okay. Old business. Going once, going twice. New business.
Oh yeah, I have. Thank you, Celeste. She reminded me so many things going on. I had gotten a call from someone from Manhattan and someone from Queens, and then I was so concerned that I called Marissa Davila's office, and Joe got on the case as soon as I told him someone made a council person made a law or intro in regards to district managers to be termed out. To district managers to be termed out, term limits. There you go. Yet, listen, I'm going to tell you again. Someone, I'm not going to mention the council person for Queens. I'm not going to mention the name, not Brooklyn, Queens, that wants to term limit managers. Wants to term limit managers because They have no control over their managers and their communities in their district. So they putting, and that's why I tell our council people, please, before they make any, come to the community and make decisions. Let us work with you. If things ain't right, we'll work together. This is our community. You can't paint every community the same way. I know there was a newspaper clipping in regards with TNA is terrible. They don't make quorum. There are things going on in Queens and in Manhattan that they don't make quorum. The liquor licenses are like hotcakes because the community board and the managers are in cahoots and the managers are running around and the chairs. So where's ethics? Where's the lawsuits? Anybody can sue anyone. Where are they that they're not in compliance with the city charter? Wait, let me, I just want to show my borough president, my Brooklyn borough president, parliamentary procedures. City charter, I walk with it all the time. This is my Bible. Not yet, wait. You think it's funny? It's not funny, I'm serious. I got the bylaws. I got our community board bylaws right here. All our bylaws are here. Every one since 76 in here. All the bylaws. Wait. Robert Rules of Order that conducts this meeting. So what do you think? So why are you trying to tell me to get rid of my manager and term limit out when city council term limit all of us? They term limit us. 2017, I won't be no longer. I'll be 38 years on the board. And I lived in Bushwick all my life when nobody wanted to be there. And I'm volunteering, not getting paid. Now they're getting rid of me. No, well, I am, but guess what? They need somebody new. They need younger people, but why not get someone from this community? Someone that was born and raised here. I don't mind passing the torch because I had seniors here that taught me. I had another senior that taught us, Miss Manny, that was the president of the A3 Precinct Council. Dennis Herring that was there in the 70s and 80s. Barbara Smith, Martha Brown, Way that was part of the board. We had old timers here. Why are you taking away our people? Why? And this was something they had to go to keep their livelihoods, to keep moving on. Instead of staying in a home and getting sick and dying, they come here. This is a bad time. Miss McCullen, come on. Why? We know, guess what? Gentrification. People that are coming in, changing the rules instead of working with us and coming with us. When my mother and father wanted to come with us and we wanted something, we asked for it, right? And we worked to get it. And that's what these people need to do. So now they want to term her. How? Why? Why would you do that? Because you want to get someone that you can cater to? Your handpicked puppet? Yeah, they need to fire everybody. Everybody in city council that's not doing what the community and the neighborhood put them to do. Represent us. Us. What happened with us, the people? We don't count no more? Why? The people that put in power, when they knock on your doors in the election, you guys better go vote. You heard what she said, right?
No political power.
That's right. Bushwick don't vote. Then who the hell made this project here? The community board ended at 9. We used to be here till 2, 3 in the morning.
Yep.
Am I right, Barbara?
That's right. We were right there drinking water.
2, 3 in the morning when there was no projects in here, when this was rocks and bricks and our kids were playing in there. Because I could show you pictures.
That's
it's
right.
disheartening that they treat us this way.
You walk out the door and rats would run over your feet.
Not only rats, crackheads, and dope fiends.
I didn't want to say that, but that's what they would do.
No,
Yep.
I'm going to say that.
You say it, Robin.
And we knew who they were because they were our people.
Yeah.
What are you
You
talking
waited for the
about?
bus. Yeah, you
Our
waited
own
for the
kids.
bus. The crackheads would run past you and try to snatch your pocketbook right there on the corner for the 60 bucks.
Come
Yeah.
on, baby. Listen, we're laughing, but it's serious.
Serious.
But
This
now
is-
you want to term our district manager that her grandfather born and raised here with her family.
And her father.
Just because
and her
she's educated, her education. Because she
Yeah.
don't look like somebody from the hood. Because her pants are down to the ground and smoking weed. Because she's educated. Come on, man, this is a joke. It really is a joke. And we really need to step up. Bushwick need to wake up. And we really do. It's sad. You should see some of the things I see, and it breaks my heart. It really does. So when we're gonna say enough is enough?
The power of the pen.
But under the city charter, and they all operate under this crazy charter, they term limit is us. So what gives one clown a handpicked puppet to turn around and put it, and all our city council, 51, agree to it, just like they do it with the outdoor dining,
Council
where you
did it.
can't walk.
The council did it.
Exactly. The people we voted in that's supposed to represent us did it. And then we look at them like, hi.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. I know there are likely questions, but if I may, just to clarify what exactly is going on. As you could imagine, I received a lot of phone calls today. There were a lot of emails, a lot of district managers asking questions, a lot of folks speaking to their elected officials. We were told that this intro was pulled by our council members, by the assembly member's office. So they are revisiting the actual language of the introduction. It may completely change. Originally, this was supposed to give the borough presidents more authority to remove ineffectual district managers. That is not my language. That is the language that was described to me. It had nothing to do with district manager term limits. Apparently that was added. An introduction does not mean that it is being passed. It is just being introduced, as in it will be considered at some point by the city council. Of course, our council members, their representatives can speak on that in more detail. But of course, as we get more information on this, we will make sure that it becomes available to the board. I also advised both staff members today, just to make sure everybody has access to the same information. And we will learn more tomorrow after the stated committee meeting. So we've been told it's not being introduced. Some folks are still under the impression that it is. We will certainly know by the end of that meeting. And I don't know if we have any council reps that want to speak on it. Feel free to do so during announcements, but I want to give space for any board members that have questions on this before we move on. So Joanna, I saw your hand was raised. Do you have something? Okay, Joanna's going to let it pass. I have Caitlin, we'll bring the mic to you. And then I see Tashana's hand is raised.
If anything does happen, do we as a board have power to make recommendations against the passage of legislation?
So this may require a charter revision commission. So it's not as though they could just enact term limits. So absolutely, there will be an opportunity for folks, citywide to respond.
And also that, it could be put in the ballot like they did to us, and don't make a big deal about it. And all of a sudden we find out with term limit because people didn't vote and turn their ballots over. And that's the way they do. Because all these elected officials, when it's something that affects them, they run all over here and tell us, we need you to look behind your ballots. But when it affects Latinos and Blacks, they don't make us turn the ballot.
Okay, we have a couple more folks in person, and then we'll go
One
to
thing everyone know is that if we get the information on this intro, we can write the council and let them know how we feel. And I mean, write. I'm an advocate for the American Cancer Society. We do it all the time. We get them to change their ways about certain things. This is serious. And this is going to require some heavy duty writing, folks.
Just to make sure I understand, but the intro was pulled, so there hasn't been any council vote on it. So we don't know. Like, I just want to make sure it's not as if our electeds here have voted on anything or whatever that we would not support.
We were told that it's going to be pulled from tomorrow's stated meeting, but the meeting is yet to happen. So we don't know if it is in fact pulled or if it's still going to be introduced.
Okay,
but we're told it was pulled. I see someone in the back as well.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me was why they didn't tell us.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I wish this would
about when our council member was here because we could have addressed it with her. This is very serious, and anything that has to do with my district manager, our district manager, I'm going to say because I think we very best in the city. And so we stand firm and make sure that this doesn't get passed. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Kopp, and then we'll go to Zoom. And I see Anna is also raising her hand.
And just kind of a quick point of information on why this is happening. So in Queens in particular, there are a couple district managers who are completely intransigent against their community board. And the community boards apparently don't know how to fire them or are unwilling to. So the complaints have just kind of gotten worse and worse and worse until now the council feels that they need to step in instead of council board, community boards stepping in, doing their job. I have no doubt in my mind that Mr. Camacho would never allow a district leader that he was working with to behave in the way that some of these have been in Queens.
He would not be in a job. I'll make sure he gets someone else because they're the people. They're for the people and we're supposed to be working for us, not for them.
All right, on Zoom, I see Tashana and then Anna.
It's not a question, it's more of a comment. I understand about bridging the gap, but there's still a way to do certain things. As far as putting terms on like a district manager or even you, a chairperson, if you are for the people, I'm not understanding why is that. Like, we should be able to, the same way how it's supposed to be democracy, vote for whether we will want you still here or not. I think that should be a situation rather than to say we're going to term someone, especially someone very heavy into the community. A lot of people, they think they want something like this and then they turn around and they're not really engaged. And you have to really be foot deep into the community to understand the outcries. So that's all I have to say about this.
Thank you. Anna?
Hi, thanks. I just want to emphasize caution here. The bill is not being introduced tomorrow. I've been in communication with the council member's office who is planning to introduce it. They said that they've gotten a lot of feedback and that they are not introducing it tomorrow. And what that means in a practical sense is that because this session is coming to an end, there is no chance that it will even be up for passage in this calendar year. It would need to be heard in committee and brought to the floor in a stated vote. There's no guarantee that it would pass if it even went through all those steps. But at this point in the year, with the session ending, if it's going to be reintroduced, it will likely be in 2024. So I understand why everyone has a lot of feelings around this. Certainly, we value our district managers in this district. We wouldn't want to impose term limits without community input. So rest assured that this is not moving tomorrow or likely anytime in the near future.
Thank you, Anna. All right. I want to say that wraps everything up. Let's go on to announcements. Folks in person, please come to the front. We will bring the mic to you. Minute and a half. Anyone on Zoom, please raise your hand. Anna, do you also have announcements? Go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, go for it.
So thank you so much to Pine Box for hosting our naloxone event last weekend. It was a huge success. Overdoses are a huge problem in the community, and we want to ensure that folks are trained to be able to respond if they see someone overdosing from an opioid. This Saturday, we're going to be having an e-waste event with the Ecology Center. So if you've got old cords or devices that you don't want to just throw in the trash, bring them to the event. It will be at Knickerbocker and Soy Dam starting at 10 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can come by anytime. Also on Saturday, we're doing a mental health first aid training with the Department of Health at the Greater Ridgewood Youth Council at 5903 Summerfield Street. This Saturday, we're also doing a street care event. Lots going on this weekend. The location for meetup is 1215 Myrtle Avenue, and that'll be at 10 in the morning.
10 seconds.
On Halloween, we're doing an annual Halloween event at Moore Street Market. We're going to have a photo booth and pumpkin decorations and games. It's going to be a lot of fun for the whole family. It'll be from 3 to 5 p.m. We'll have resources available for the community as well. And we're really excited to announce that our office is participating in participatory budgeting this year. It'll be our 13th cycle. Last year, we were the district with the most votes. So we're really looking forward to having the community come out again. We're tabling on Saturday and Sunday at Maria Hernandez. We're also joining Council Member Nurse in an assembly at Alianza Ecuatoriana on November 2nd from 5 to 7. And I'd just like to also mention that there have been some conversations about e-bikes and fires. Councilmember Gutierrez introduced legislation to regulate the battery maintenance of e-bikes. So you have to have a license in order to be able to repair these e-bike batteries, which is part of what makes this so dangerous. We also have a fire guide from our office that we've put together to assist folks who have been in a situation where
I'm sorry, 90 seconds is up. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you, Anna. If folks that don't get to finish, we have to be pretty strict tonight, folks. Just please send me an email. We're happy to include everything in the minutes and make sure the board has the information and the community does as well. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to make sure they get license plates and insurance on there.
We're going to finish with the Zoom folks first. I see Zuma, then Barbara Smith, and then we'll go to folks in person. Go ahead,
Good evening,
Zuma.
everyone. This is really simple. I'm representing also the Department of Health tonight. This is just simple. I'm going to drop it in the chat. We're going to have a diabetes self-management classes held in Bushwick starting November 9th. There's going to be a QR code. People can register for it. It's just going to be for 6 series classes. And once you finish, if you complete 5, you will be getting a free Fitbit. I will drop this in the chat for everyone. We're bringing it to Bushwick and we partner with Riceboro Community Partnership where it's going to be held at 518 Bushwick Avenue. I'm going to drop it now and I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Les. And Mr. Camacho, thank you for your passion.
Thank you, Zuma. Go ahead, Barbara.
Hi, everyone. I just want to make an announcement. The 83rd Precinct Community Council meeting will be the 2nd week of November. It's generally the 3rd week. It's going to be the 2nd week, November the 14th, because of the holiday. So please put that in your calendar that our 83rd Precinct Community Council meeting will be November the 14th at 6:30 in person in the precinct. And if you have anyone that you think deserve a turkey, can use a turkey, please call Community Affairs and put their name in. We're going to try to give them out again this year, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. Fran?
Hi, everyone. Real quick, the council member already mentioned that participatory budget started for the folks on Zoom. I put the flyers and everything that's happening in the district in the chat. For folks in the room, there should be flyers there. We're having a virtual assembly where you can come and ask questions via Zoom on October 23rd at 5 p.m. You just need to RSVP. And then the Bushwick Assembly will be jointly with Councilmember Gutierrez's office November 2nd at Alianza Ecuatoriana, which is at 343 Linden Street. That will be at 5 p.m. November 2nd. We have a lot going on. There's going to be a Knickerbocker Halloween festival at Knickerbocker Plaza. We're partnering with a lot of people, cotton candy, costume contest, live music, etc. That will be on Tuesday, 31st at 4 p.m. I also put the flyer in the chat and there should be a flyer there. We're having a haunted Highland Trail of Horrors at Highland Park on the 28th. You also need to RSVP for that. And then we have our Narcan training on October 28th as well. It's at 3 p.m. at General Irving. And finally, we have our tree care event that got postponed from last weekend will be this Sunday, rain or shine, at 72 Grove Street. That's the Community Garden Concerned Citizens of Grove Street. It starts at 11 a.m. We're going to be pruning trees. So citizen pruners who took the class from Bushwick Community Board 4, I hope to see you there. Mulch, compost.
That's 90 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fran. All right, in person.
Hi, everyone. Lacey from Borough President Reynoso's office. Okay, first thing, we are very, very excited that we just put out the comprehensive plan for Brooklyn. I put some flyers over there that have a QR code so you can check it out. Basically, the plan is a snapshot of existing conditions in the borough and the borough president's vision for a healthier and more equitable borough. And that looks like recommendations around health, housing, land use, environment, transportation, accessibility, there's another one. But anyway, I really hope that you'll all dig into it. I'm going to be in touch with Anne about maybe doing a little more in depth with the Housing and Land Use Committee on it, but I really encourage you to all check it out. It's going to be a guiding document for us for our land use recommendations, and we hope that you all can utilize it for the same thing. You might have heard that the BP recently announced that we're shifting away from doing kind of celebratory events at Borough Hall, given all the crises that our city is currently facing, toward more service delivery. That's going to start really soon. I'm excited to come back to you and talk about some more details about that. In the meantime, 2 actual fun events that we are still doing. One, Adopt a Shelter Animal on Saturday, the 28th, 11 to 4 at Borough Hall. The shelters are full, so if you want a furry friend, come and get one. It's going to be really exciting. And then we're going to do some trick-or-treating for kids on Halloween at Borough Hall.
That is 90 seconds.
From 3 to 6. That's it.
Thank you.
Good evening, folks. My name is Jonathan Bancourt. I'm here on behalf of Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, who's currently in Washington, where they're dealing right now with the election of the speaker. We are now 15 days without a speaker, and today House Republicans failed again to elect a speaker. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. I just want to start by mentioning that we actually visited 120 Menahan yesterday at the site of the e-bike fire. We just wanted to survey the scene and talk with tenants to see, just to get a better perspective on what happened. The lithium ion bikes, e-bikes, has been a great concern to the Congresswoman. She actually brought it up to the Commissioner Edward Caban of the NYPD in a meeting that they had recently. Folks, in legislative news, the Congresswoman actually has recently introduced the Ban All Neurotoxic Organophosphate Pesticides from Our Food Act, which would ban organophosphate pesticides from our food because studies have shown that it is actually affecting our farm workers as well as humans in general, especially our children. Also, flooding, big topic here in Bushwick. When it comes to flooding, the Congresswoman realizes that folks, we're just not prepared for climate change. We saw that a couple of weeks ago with the flooding, with rain, and we really need to build resilient infrastructure to protect our residents, especially here in Bushwick. So she led a dozen members of Congress in a bipartisan letter to the Army Corps of Engineers asking for a better flood protection plan for New York and New Jersey. Also, one last thing.
90 seconds.
Thank you so much for your time.
Hi, Nalisha from Leesburg Community Partnership. So Sunday, October 29th, so not this coming Sunday, the following one, we'll be hosting our Calabasas Fest, which is an annual event that we've had for over a decade now, in partnership with Council Member Gutierrez. So it'll be at Maria Hernandez from 11 to 4 p.m. Live music, pumpkin carving. It's a great, colorful, family-friendly activity. So we hope to see you there. We also have an anti-litter design contest on Knickerbocker Avenue. We really spent a lot of time tending to our tree pits last fiscal year, and we want to make sure that, you know, they stay in good condition. So we're asking artists of all ages to submit some creative, fun designs, slogans, anything, you know, to encourage litter reduction and pet waste reduction. And then lastly, for the past 50 years on Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, we've been delivering hot holiday meals to homebound senior citizens in the community. And so we plan on bringing that back this year. We've been doing this since 1973. So if you know of an older adult who would appreciate this, and you know would benefit from it, you can volunteer if you can. Jasmine Montalvo, that's can I spell it? Or you can just call our office and get in touch with Jasmine.
That is 90 seconds.
Volunteer.
Thank you.
Cool.
Please email me.
Yeah.
Email me the info.
All right, Josh, don't mess with me. I'm putting my 90 seconds on right now. Hi, everyone. My name is Kwebe Koti. I'm the founder of the Bushwick Film Festival. I'm excited to share that the 16th annual Bushwick Film Festival is next week. The Bushwick Film Festival, we've been producing movies, panels, and conversations in Bushwick, as obviously for 16 years. It's an exciting program. A lot of our partners, or few of our partners, are in here tonight. We have events at Lot 45, which is owned by Ramon, our board member, Ms. Chambers, who has been so helpful with so many of our outreach, and one of our community partners pushing for realty is also here, who's been a supportive partner. So the festival is October 25th to 29th. We are having events in Bushwick, in downtown Brooklyn, as well as in Williamsburg. There's 125 films from 50 different countries. 50% of our films are from New York City and Brooklyn. 50 to 60% of our filmmakers are people of color. And I have 20 seconds. It's a very exciting event. In addition to films, we have a movie industry conference and some parties, and our opening night will be at Brooklyn Borough Hall next Wednesday. So if anybody is interested here who wants to attend, I'm happy to give some free codes, some discount codes. My work number, let me go number, 347-450-3464. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kwebe.
Okay, good evening. My name is Raul Rubio. I'm with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Besides the mental health first aid that Councilwoman Jennifer Gutierrez is hosting on Saturday, the Department of Health is also partnering with the DeKalb Library, and we're going to be hosting a mental health first aid course at the DeKalb Library on October 27th. It's a full day training that runs from 10 when the library opens till about 4 or 5. It grants a first aid certification in mental health, which is valid for 3 years and is a nationally recognized certification. There are colorful flyers that are over on the table over there with all the other flyers with a QR code where you can register online. Again, it's open to everybody. It's free, completely free. And it was part of the same initiative that was started in 2015 to train as many New Yorkers in mental health first aid. If you want to have a training at your church, community group, if you can get 15 people in a room, I will train your book club. And again, it's absolutely free. If anybody needs to get in touch with me, I'm on the community board. You can connect to the community board office and they will be able to make sure to get in touch with me. And again, flyers are over there. Thank you.
Just a real quick follow-up to Fran's announcement. Both Fran and Councilmember Nurse talked about participatory budgeting in the 37th district. We've got some idea cards here. So if you want to submit an idea, you can do it on the website or you can grab one of these cards. The only thing I ask is that if you fill it out on the card, be as specific as you can. Don't just say you want street trees, say where you want street trees. And then you can either give these to me at the next meeting or you can drop them off at the council member's office.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. All right, everyone's favorite item, second roll call. Please be ready. All right, Tashana Wade.
Present. Good night, everybody.
Jerry Valentine.
Present. Good night.
Ben Tucker. Jessica Tibercio. James Stewart. Annette Spellin. Justin Sanborn. Barbara Smith.
Present.
Milagro Sandoval. Eliseo Ruiz. Raul Rubio. Asai Polite. Caitlin Penner. Levi Ornstein Wolf.
Hey, wait.
Zuma Novoa.
Present.
Desmond Monroe is excused. Mary McClellan. Raman Mama. Christine Malden. Cop. Nicholas Kaplan. Luisa Jose. Sarah Jones Thomas. Kaisha Johnson. Barbara Jackson. Tanisha Honeygan. Zachary Hendrickson. Christopher Graham. Freddie Fowler is excused. Cecilia Fabian. Jasmine de Santiago Diaz. Alvina Davis. Andrew Choi. Christian C. Tate. Felix Ceballos is excused. Melissa Carrera Cabal is excused. Robert Camacho. Raul Brown. Makiba Brown Elaine. Joshua Brown. Joanna Bennett. Isa Abney.
Here.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Barbara Jackson makes a motion. Who seconds?
Z seconds.
David
Boom.
seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Have a good night, everyone.
9:02.
It's great
Joey was
seeing you.
joking. Good night, everyone.
Good night. See you next week, Quebe.
Down.